Hey, hello, Cleveland. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. How the heck are you? Yes, I am Diana Clary and the Lavender Lady. This is the Open Chat, and with me is the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful Kate Farr, Bionic Dance. How are you, dear?
Well, I'm alright, I suppose. A little on the frustrated side for some of what I'm trying to do with my animation is being a dirty little bitch about it. But I did get a fair amount done today, actually, so I think I'm okay. How about yourself?
Oh, a little bit this, a little bit that. I felt like total shit yesterday. I don't know if it was a
Hmm.
touch of the flu or something. I was in bed all day and feeling better today, but the dialysis center still wants me to get tested for the plague, so I have to do something about
The
that.
what center?
Dialysis center.
Oh, thank goodness, that is so not what I heard. Alright.
Okay. Oh my. And hello, everybody. Hello. We have Sammy Jenkins. We have the Lone Wanderer. We have Mage. Hey, Mage. All right. We're talking now. And we may have a new listener or watcher or something like that on the way home from dialysis. I was talking to the Uber driver about things, and this show happened to come up. And they mentioned, hey, that sounds like fun. I'm going to give it a try. So, Todd, if you're listening, hi, how are you? Here we are. Kate's here. I'm here. And I don't know, maybe we'll get a couple more people later. Who knows? We'll find out. Yay?
I suppose we will.
Hmm. I mean, I put
I
the.
mean, there could be some sort of like nuclear catastrophe that destroys the entire human race, and we end up not knowing a damn thing about today's viewership. That is a possibility, not a probability, but it could happen.
There you are.
And I, for
Yeah.
one, intend to be prepared.
This is the sort of thing Kate thinks about when she lies awake in bed at night. And, kids,
I
if
think you mean
the
hangs from the ceiling at night. Well, anyway.
Yeah, and the kids, I'll tell you what, if this is the sort of thing you think about when you're lying awake in bed at night, you don't deserve to be lying awake in bed at night. Okay.
Actually, I don't understand what you mean by that at all.
It's an old Frank Sinatra joke.
You keep doing this, coming up with these like archaic and, let's face it, arcane as hell little quips to say. You're doing it just to make just to make me ask you what the hell you're talking
Maybe I am. Who knows?
about.
Oh, what you been up to lately, dear?
Well, as I say, working on my animation, uh, getting stoned, hashtag someone please fun Kate pot habit, trying like hell to cast that impossible to cast part, which is really starting to get frustrating. Let's see. I mean, not a lot else.
Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. How does it sound here? One?
It's not
No,
even
huh?
close.
Oh.
It's not even close. Have you ever had like earplugs in or something?
Oh, many times.
And even though everyone around you can hear perfectly fine, you can't hear yourself, so you yell and you go, one, like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I need someone to do that who's not me because I'm already voicing a character, so that's not gonna work. To do that line, and I can't get frickin' anybody. Like seriously, I've been trying for 2 goddamn years to get someone. I've had a bunch of friends who are like, "Okay, sure, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do it just as soon as I get home from work," and then I never hear from them again. It's one of those things. It's so frustrating. So and I mean, it's one word and an exclamation like a yipe because, well, that space station just took a hit and we all got jostled. I need that and I cannot for the life of me get someone to freaking. Anyway.
I don't know. You're gonna have to get a voice changing software thing.
Oh, I have that. It'll still sound like me.
Well, yeah, you are inimitable. That is true.
Well, I'm just like, okay, you know my old Rational Station videos? I actually used to try to voice Dewey myself, and it didn't work, and so I had to have my friend Alex do it.
Okay, okay.
So, yeah. Believe me, I tried. It's like hard to coordinate with Alex because I know him from Vermont.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
The old days of Dewey and Sandra.
Yeah. Um, I have had a few requests to resurrect that series, but I don't know. My true passion has always been narrative fiction. I think I'm going to focus on that.
Oh, here we go. Um, in the side chat, we have
Oh,
Lone Wanderer saying, I'll do it, and Sammy Jenkins saying, ask me.
all right. Basically, she's the bartender at a bar out in the middle of space, still orbiting Mars. And, so like there's a shot sort of establishing the clientele. And so she's asking a character at the bar who's ordering a drink. She goes, one, just because, well, making sure that they don't want 3 beers. You know what I
Mm-hmm,
mean?
mm-hmm.
And then there's another scene where the space station gets like hit and rocked, everyone gets thrown off their feet. I need sort of like a yelp or a yipe or an eek or an eep or something, preferably not sounding like you're actually making a real word, just a soundless yipe, or rather a formless yipe. Just short and quick, eep, kind of the, yeah, that kind of, whoa, and something along those lines.
Something
And that's
like,
it.
something
That's all
like,
of it. That's everything I need.
you sure you don't want something like, nah?
187,000% positive I don't want that.
Nah, nah.
I'm just saying.
I'm just being weird. We know this. I'm good at that. Oh, hey, there you go. I got an idea. How
What?
about if this bartender had a voice like some of the science fiction characters who sound like 3 people at once, and you could
She's
have
human, so no.
no.
I do have a certain amount of lore in my head for the Quinverse, and it's not a very strange place along those lines.
Oh,
Like you're not gonna get a lot of old school Star Trek, not really an aliens in this thing.
no aliens with British accents.
Well, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. 'Cause that was the
But I just mean like it's not going to be, oh look, we painted their face blue, but they're otherwise completely human. There's an alien. Or oh look, we took this puffy ass dog and stuck a horn on its head, and look, there's an alien. I mean like we're talking Doctor Who level effects here, like old school Doctor Who. We're not going to get a lot of that. There's not going to be a lot of, oh look, I have forehead ridges kind of aliens.
no canine.
Well, there'll be robots. There is at least one AI character in Quinn Redshift in the animation.
Okay, okay.
Where can you send these sound clips? Pretty easy. I have an email address set up for the project, quinnredshift@gmail.com.
That's
Now I
really
expect
hard
to
to
get a
remember.
buttload of spam, but still.
Yeah, pretty much. Turn your spam filter on, everything will be fine.
The sacrifices I make for my art.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here having dinner, which consists of a barrel of popcorn.
It could have been so much worse.
I suppose.
Well, when you said barrel of, my brain went to monkeys.
I don't know. Whoever thought of putting monkeys into a barrel?
Has anyone ever actually done that?
Somebody had to have done it somewhere along the line, otherwise you wouldn't have had more fun than a barrel full of monkeys. I mean, Somebody
not
had to
true.
know how much fun a barrel full of monkeys was.
Or
It,
someone estimated how much fun that would be.
yeah, but now you're talking about belief instead of knowledge. Call
Well,
Aaron Ra.
yeah, I am. I'm saying these people had in their monkey fun hypothesis. They didn't know. They didn't test it. I'd be willing to bet a lot of money they never tested the monkeys in a barrel hypothesis, the monkeys in a barrel hypothesis.
Yay, hypothesis. I like that.
Well, I mean that is literally what the word is, isn't it?
Yep.
It's an under thesis. It's a not quite a thesis. I can't believe it's not theory.
Oh my! And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking about bald speculation here.
No, both of us have hair.
Yeah. Oh my!
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing to have hair.
So, in less than lovely news, did you hear that Bob Saget died the other day?
I saw that. I saw that. I just
I
didn't.
wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, I saw that today. He wasn't all that old either. I mean,
Like 65.
yeah, huh?
It's crazy pants. Dude wasn't ready to die. Or rather, I wasn't ready for him to die. I really enjoy his comedy.
Yeah, so when you're looking around and you're watching the people dying and they're your age, and it's like, okay.
Well, I mean, 65 is a little on the early side to die.
A little
They don't
bit,
even
yeah.
really know, or at least they haven't disclosed what got him is the thing. Like, they found him in a hotel room in Florida or some crap.
Oh,
But there was no.
no.
There was no evidence of foul play or anything, though. Like, they don't know
Okay,
what the frick happened.
so no David Carradine, none of that?
Yeah, you're making references to old shit again. I mean, I know. Kung Fu: The Legend Continues. I never watched it.
Well, no, the guy who played what the heck was that character's name? Kwai Chang or some shit like that. Um, he died in a closet in a hotel room, I think, of erotic asphyxiation.
Well, I guess, whatever floats your ducky.
Yeah, okay. Not me, thank you.
Well,
I don't understand that shit, but
I guess you don't have to understand it.
Well, I suppose it's not an absolute requirement.
I guess the question would be, do you want to? And then another question would be, why?
Why?
And then another question would be, would you like pickles with your salmon sandwich?
Hmm.
The answer is no. No,
I
you
don't
would
think-
not.
I don't think I've ever had a salmon sandwich with pickles.
I don't even know. But my brain did not come up with a good idea, and salmon sandwich is what it came up with.
I love lox and bagels.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
See, I wouldn't have put locks on bagels. I would have put them on doors.
Okay. Okay.
But
But
it took
yeah,
me a very long time to actually find out what LOX, LOX was. I saw it mentioned in a bunch of literature, but it was always assumed that the reader knew what the frick it was.
okay.
And so for a very long time, I didn't know it was fish. I just knew that there was lox on bagels.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't.
It really would be nice sometimes to not have it assumed that everyone knows what the frick you're talking about.
I forget what it is you do to turn plain old salmon into lox, but it is something. It's been a hell of a long time since I've had it. God, now I want some. Damn it.
It's probably really, really expensive these
It
days.
is. It is.
But I mean,
Oh, yeah.
more so than usual.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole
It definitely has that
plague
luxury
thing.
item thing going on, doesn't it?
Yep, that too. I mean, well, Jesus, just plain old chicken is horrendously expensive. It's to the
Well, I
point, right?
suppose it depends on what form you buy it in. I mean, if you insist on fresh chicken, like at the meat counter, yeah, it's going to be expensive. But if you buy that perfectly good frozen stuff that I get, that's great for stir fries, you can get like a couple of weeks worth for $8-9. Well, then again, I can get a couple of weeks worth. I know your appetite is a little different.
Slightly different, yes. It's a slightly greater volume. Oh man, but
Yes.
yeah. Well, last time I bought chicken, I think it was something over $2 a pound.
Well, I don't know what to tell you on that score. I just know that if I buy that shredded chicken that's in the freezer area and I make stir fry out of it, I mean, maybe I can a little bit tell that it wasn't fresh, but I also a lot don't care. It's a perfectly lovely meal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. Now, if I'm going to make a paprikash, I don't want to use the stuff that you use on a stir fry.
Okay, you say so.
Yeah, there's.
Probably using like some sort of guts that the chicken has, you know, like
She knows me
chicken
all too well.
gallbladder pate.
Oh man. Well, I was
I just
raised.
don't know if it's unmitigated gallbladder pate.
I was raised in a hunky household. What can I tell you? I'll
It's weird
just.
to me how few things have unmitigated applied to them. It's usually only like disasters and you know,
Unmitigated good times just doesn't fly, does it?
it doesn't. Probably because you don't want them mitigated. It's like rarely does mitigated have a negative context.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. She's got a point. Notice,
Yeah.
kids, that she has a point. Wait a minute. What do we have?
Looks like I was just emailed some samples. I'll have to listen later because, show.
Dosta Bataradeke. Okay, I buy Lux for 786 at Scroll Mart, and it lasts me weeks. Sometimes I can't finish it before it goes bad. Okay, I'll have to see if they have anything there next time I go shopping. Which I have to go shopping tomorrow because Jesus, I'm eating popcorn because there's nothing else around here to eat. Well, there's plenty of stuff around here to eat. It's like you say it's all ingredients and no food.
Yeah, that is occasionally a problem.
Maybe I should
Um,
get a couple boxes of ramen. Those little packets that you get. You get like 20 of them in a box or some shit like that. And
like a flat of ramen.
yeah, pretty much.
Well, I guess I don't know. I realize that I'm a little bit spoiled by having a supermarket so damned close to me. So like if I want ramen, I can just get enough for today, tomorrow, whatever. I don't have to plan ahead for the next month, so I don't have to go buying flats of ramen. The closest I can get to that is buying flats of Red Bull because sometimes I don't want to go out.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with me is, you buy a flat of ramen because, I'll eat four of them at a time.
Well, yeah, see that just I'm not that I don't I eat less. I have more moderation than that.
Oh my! Although I am slowing. Wait a minute. Did I just pull my cable out again? Yeah,
I don't
I
know, but I
did.
can hear you. For whatever that's worth,
I
I can
really
hear you.
need to get the
I don't know,
Bluetooth
like maybe for some
working
people
here
it's worth more than
somehow, and it's just not doing it for me. I don't know. Wait a minute. Get in. There you go. There you go. You got into
and
the
that's
thing
what
there.
you do when you really want to piss her off, you see.
Okay. Oh my.
Sorry, I was trying to pull a "she's gone, let's talk about her" moment. I don't know if that came through.
It's really difficult to piss me off. It can be done. It can be done, but it's not easy.
See, now you make me want to say challenge accepted.
Talk to the guy who calls himself Look a Pig. He'll tell you how to do it.
Okay.
Oh man.
Well, I bet if I started just denying every last scrap of evidence you presented for anything and insisted that I'm right by imperial fiat, that might piss you off a little.
Isn't that what you do anyway?
No, I'll back up what I say with actual evidence and reason. The fact that I'm right so frequently speaks more to your wrongness than it does to my rightness. Meh.
Uh,
Well,
yeah.
udon isn't really ramen, though.
Say again?
Udon isn't, to what Lone Wonder said, udon isn't ramen, it's noodles, but not ramen.
No, udon is udon. I mean, geez, it reminds me of the homemade noodles my babka used to make. Used to make up the dough and roll it out, into
You
a
had one of those
square.
crank things?
Well, what she would do, once she rolled it out into a square, then she would roll it into a spiral and with a knife just cut slices off the end. And you got these really long noodles, but they were damn good. Yeah, she did not have one of those crank things. I've thought
We
of.
had one, but then again, I was raised by a Sicilian.
There you go. I had thought of getting one, but God, where would I put it? I don't have
Well,
enough room
most
to
of the
keep
ones I've
anything.
seen, they clamp onto something like a counter. They're removable. You don't keep them in place constantly.
Oh, right, but I mean, where would I store it? I've got zero storage space around here.
Well, I know a place you could store it, but
Okay
I don't
then.
think it.
Yeah.
I didn't have to say more, did I? Sounds like a duck call.
There you go. Oh my. Quack.
Wah, 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 wah.
Now I want to watch Mars Attacks.
Well, okay.
I know you don't like Mars Attacks because Tim Burton. I know.
Sure, yeah. I never even saw it. I just refused to because fucking Tim Burton.
I happen to.
I'd rather. Have you ever seen Iron Sky?
No, I have not. I know it exists, but I haven't seen it.
You know what?
I know it exists, but I
Do you know
haven't
the? Oh,
watched
do you
it.
know the premise?
Not really. No.
Well, I mean, number one, it's a comedy, which may or may not be apparent from looking at the cover or the poster. But basically, like after World War II, a bunch of Nazis escaped to the dark side of the moon, and then like a NASA expedition finds them, and they decide to go invade Earth because they think World War II is still happening.
Okay then.
And it's pretty funny. And if you like diesel punk, it's definitely got that going on. Plus, the American president totally looks like she's supposed to be Sarah Palin.
Ah!
It's a pretty funny romp. I think it's worth a watch. I do kind of wish someone would take that premise and treat it seriously, but it's still fun for what it is.
I don't know who I would less. Dave Bowman. It is an F-100. Yeah. Good eye there. Good eye there.
Are you sure it's not a Ford F-150?
There you go. But what the hell was I saying? Because I just derailed myself here. We were talking about Iron Sky, and I forget. I don't know.
Whoa. We were. Yeah, I don't remember how we got to Iron Sky.
This is what happens when you get old like me. The mind.
Or when you have brain damage like me.
Yeah, the memory is the second thing to go, and here we go. I
Yes,
forget
yes,
what the
yes,
first
yes,
is.
yes, yes, yes. Merciful Zeus, I swear it's like your brain has one of those macro boards that you use, and you hit something and out comes a thing you've said a million times.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. And that is spelled Y-E-S-S-E, by the way. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Wait a minute.
You betcha sucks on Diet Coke. I missed that. Now it's
So did I.
contracted.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm so totally lost. Maybe that was supposed to go in a different chat, which makes me wonder, is the Lone Wanderer like watching multiple streams at once? Like, I thought I had attention problems. I mean, merciful Zeus, what are you doing over here, huh?
Oh man, I've been watching the really old movie nights lately.
Oh?
Yeah, the stuff before Jeff died. I tell you, it's one way to kill 5 hours.
Oh, to what Dave Bowman said there. Now, I mean, kinda maybe a little bit, but that dragon is hampered by being go motion. I have to say that I might nominate Smaug from the Peter Jackson Hobbit movies as the best on-screen dragon. I thought they did a really good job, like a really good job. But also, it almost seems like they were aping Dragon Slayer from the methodology. It may be that Peter Jackson agrees that Vermithrax Pejorative is indeed the best screen dragon ever and tried to capture that same energy. That's entirely possible.
Now wait a minute. When you say go motion, is that a play on words, or is there something actually called go motion?
There is something called go motion. It's like stop motion, but each frame is sort of synced up so that there's like a mechanical armature inside of whatever's being animated. So when the camera clicks, it moves at the same time to give a little motion blur to make it seem a bit more real.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
I learned something today.
Motion.
I learned something. How do you like that? Oh my.
So yeah, it's a thing. The stuff you know when you dropped out of film school, I tell you.
Now wait a minute. You were talking about Sarah Palin.
Yeah, from Iron Sky, they made the president look like she's supposed to be Sarah Palin.
Ah, that's what I was thinking of, and I forgot totally. I don't know who I want less as president of the United States, Jack Nicholson or Sarah Palin. And I just spilled popcorn everywhere.
I'm gonna go with Donald Trump.
Yeah. There's some.
I definitely want him less than either of those two.
There was some piece of work on Twitter earlier who posted. Oh, I remember. It was Kevin Sorbo who posted everything was better under Trump.
Really?
Uh-huh.
The only thing that was better under Trump was my news feed, because every morning I would wake up and I'd turn on the Kindle to see what time it was, because I don't have a proper alarm clock. And for whatever, I don't know if I put the Washington Post app on there or if it was already preloaded, but every morning I would wake up and read whatever weird-ass fuckery Trump had committed that day. You know,
yeah.
like while I was asleep or whatever. And there was usually 5 or 6 things to read. You know, I mean, like him or hate him, Trump was definitely entertaining.
Wow. Now wait a minute.
And so, like, basically, yeah, I think the news was better back then, just in terms of whether or not I want to experience any of it. But that's the only thing I can point to. The single solitary thing I can point to is that the news has less entertainment value today.
So wait a minute, you said Washington Post app, so did you have a prescription?
The fuck are you talking about?
Did you have a Washington Post prescription?
Clearly not.
Oh, okay. Because, I mean, Washington Post is a hell of a paywall.
Yeah, see, you probably should have said subscription.
Well, I just thought I would mess up the word. You know how it goes. I mean, the expert at not being funny, remember?
Yes. Well, I don't know what to tell you. The Kindle app, I don't have to pay for it, and I can read whatever the frick I like.
Huh.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe it comes free with Prime.
Okay, maybe.
A lot of weird stuff like comes free with Prime. I don't really understand it. I'm not going to bitch about it.
I mean, I pay for my Washington Post, and tell you the absolute truth, I'm not sure if I read it enough to make it worth it, but I do read it. And then when I
Well,
want
I
to
mean,
read it, you know, I want to read it instead of being told that there's a paywall in my way.
well, I have to admit I do a certain amount of, I'll call it triage on what I will and won't experience news-wise, because, every now and then I'm like, oh, really? Some farm workers in Guatemala are striking. Whoa, okay. It's just, I mean, sure, it's probably sucky for the people in Guatemala, but it's not very relevant to my own life, so, I skip on ahead to something that's a little more relevant to me.
Oh my God, I have to vacuum the lavender studio when this show is over. Damn it. Popcorn shards everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What do we have going on over there? Oh wow, I didn't see you come in, honey. Purple's here. Yay!
Her name is Sorbo, anyway.
Um, isn't it an artificial sweetener of some sort? No.
What?
I was
What on
thinking
earth were you?
I was thinking of sorbitol.
Yeah, that's just too many steps to get there. I mean,
No.
if it was sorboitol, you might have made it funny, but sorbitol, just nah. But no, seriously, what nationality is that? I mean, if it was EAU, we'd know it was fucking French, but
There you go. I have no freaking idea, and you know what? You know what I'm doing right now, don't you?
I do.
Uh, uh, here we go. Let's see what we have. What ethnicity is Kevin Sorbo? Norwegian.
Oh, that would not have been my first guess.
Not mine. Not mine either. Oh man, this is what happens when you make a hobby of link chasing and stuff and looking shit up and everything. I could spend an entire afternoon chasing links. Back in the day.
That's kind of funny because Link spends most of his time chasing Zeldas.
Okay.
You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
The game.
Oh, okay, you do. Huh. Weird.
Oh man, well I remember Robin Williams
Playing Link from Zelda?
naming his daughter Zelda.
Yeah, no.
Because she named her for the game character, if I remember correctly.
Did he? Okay, now we're in interesting territory.
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Huh.
Oh.
Well, people do wacky things. I again point to Elon Musk and that weird equation he tried to name his stupid kid.
Oh, God. I don't get that crap. I mean, the least you could do is if you're going to give somebody a name, make sure that they can spell it and pronounce it.
Hey, look, it's the baby formerly known as Prince.
Scheiße. Es ist scheißvoll.
It is kind of annoying. There are certain things that you cannot have on a driver's license in the United States. They're just like, no, no, and not even just like funky characters. Some of it is like you can't have a royal title or a noble title on your driver's license in the U.S.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just you can't do it. You have to have like it's Mr., Ms., Miss, and Mrs., and I think non-specified is something. Oh, and Doctor, of course.
There you go.
Then of course, like they allow for suffixes though. You can be the third, the eighth, the fourth, whatever the frick, or Esquire if that's what floats your boat. Took me a long time to find out what the fuck that meant. Like I'd heard it before, and then I remember, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He kept introducing himself as Bill S. Preston Esquire. Eventually I got curious enough to look it up, and I'm like, oh, it's a lawyer thing. I mean, I always thought just because Squire is in there that it was something a little more knightly.
But it's not. It's daily, right?
Well, you know what I mean.
I mean, I
like
never
Knight
did.
in Shining Armory stuff. I figured,
I never did know what it meant
Esquire,
anyway.
the Knight's Squire. I unless squires used to double as lawyers, I don't get it.
Okay, then. I never really did look that one up. That's interesting that I never did.
Yeah, if your name ends in Esquire, it means you're a lawyer. I think it might be a specific kind of lawyer, but it's definitely related to lawyers. Oh, there was Purple Moon Unit, Dweezil. Oh gosh, what's the other one? Like Yama something fucking. I don't remember the one. What's the other one? The other Zappa guy. There was Moon Unit, Dweezil.
I don't remember.
It was something. It sounded ethnic. It sounded Middle Eastern. I don't remember. Okay, Frank Zappa's kids' names. Ahmet. That's it. Ahmet.
Oh.
Apparently there's a Diva Zappa that I didn't know about.
Okay, then.
Ahmet does sound sort of Middle Eastern or maybe Indian.
Well,
no idea where the hell Dweezil came from.
Oh, there's a story going around that was a nickname that the kid insisted should be his name. I don't know if that was the case or not. And, well, as far as Ahmet is concerned, Zappa does have Arabic heritage, or did have when he was alive, Arabic heritage, if I remember correctly.
Wow, look at the schnoz on Diva Zappa.
Okay, wait a minute. I gotta go look. Oh man, we're right into my. Oh god, my neck is killing me.
So I guess her dad had a bit of a honker on him.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's one hell of a honker.
Yeah, Moon Unit Zappa does indeed sound like a sci-fi character. I gotta say, I think of all of them, she got the best deal. But maybe it's because I like sci-fi stuff, so being called Moon Unit wouldn't be so bad. But, I mean, still, even just comparing the sounds of the other names, I think Moon Unit is so much cooler than Ahmet or Dweezil. And Diva, just like, imagine trying to introducing yourself to people as Diva. It's almost like saying, hi, my name is Karen. I'll be making a fuss today.
There you go. And Purple, yeah, hang on a second. Come on over if you feel like it. We can og this foo here. Nah, it's not the right one. Okay, I got to get the right link going over here. The heck was that?
See, my brain doesn't go to pagan. I mean, I get why it might moon. Pagan, got it, but Moon Unit makes it sound like some sort of technology. Like, oh yeah, we have the Mars rover now, but we started with the Moon Unit.
Yeah, okay, okay.
That's where my brain goes.
De acordo?
So,
Oh, where am I? I gotta figure out where the heck I am. I know where I am. Okay, there we go. Bacarasta. Non le quiere siete parodie. I have no idea what I'm saying. There you go, honey. Yeah, come on aboard. Love to have you. Make it a little more open for an open chat.
mm,
Sometimes I'm tempted to put the link into the side chat the way Mr. B does, but I don't know. We'll see
I actually
what
haven't
happens.
seen a link to B's show in a while.
I'm trying to remember where he puts them.
Well, I don't know. I gotta decide what's for dinner tonight. I have too much of the same stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know the feeling.
I need more variety. I keep spicing things Asian style. Maybe I should make some of that, like, blackened chicken today.
I'm tempted to send out for a sandwich, but I don't know if I want to pay, $15 for a sandwich and a Coke, or what? Not a Coke, because I'm a kidney patient, but something.
I don't know. I mean, I have to admit, I was craving Chinese food a little while ago, and I had to stop myself from ordering any.
Ah, what do we have here? Hello, Purple Deer. How are you?
Hello.
Yay!
What's up? What's new? What's happening? Quick, be interesting.
Uh-oh, we've got an echo going.
Yeah, I just had to go back to the other tab and mute it in YouTube. So should be better now.
Yay, 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 yay. What you been up to, dear?
Being sick.
Oh no, still, huh?
Well, I think I beat it off now. I don't really feel sick
Phrasing,
anymore. I just feel exhausted.
That may not be the right way to phrase that.
Oh God, yeah. The dialysis center wants me to get tested for the plague too, because I felt like shit yesterday and spent the entire day in bed. Didn't eat, didn't drink anything in the whole bit. It was great for the numbers because I only had to take off about 1.5 kilos. But and I didn't pass out either. It's great.
Yeah, one of the most annoying things was having to cancel a couple of doctor's appointments, including a specialist that'll probably take me a month to reschedule.
If you're lucky. Yeah, making specialist appointments is not easy. Oy.
There's a lot of gatekeeping in the medical community, and sometimes it seems so unnecessary, like all it's there for is legal ass covering.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Well, it's legal covering, and a lot of it is because of the insurance companies.
Sick and death.
No, the insurance companies, it's a matter of they don't want to pay for something unless you can get 3 doctors to testify that it's actually necessary.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's a lot of that is legal stuff, though, because the insurance company is definitely going to make a legal stink.
Yeah.
If they don't get exactly what they want.
And then the whole problem is that getting the clearance to get that appointment costs you more than that appointment ever would, out of pocket. God.
Not if you live in California.
Yeah, but rent. I know
Still.
you've got a different situation going, but God.
Yeah, your Medicaid sucks.
But I mean, I stand by what I say. It does still cost less for specifically the medical care.
Minnesota's pretty good about the medical care too. I haven't really run into anything, that they wouldn't cover. There were like a couple of prescriptions I had to argue about because they wanted to give me something cheaper, but I went through and said, nope, the doctor said I can't have those because of the side effects.
Well, I figure if I'm still low income and can get medical care and they're not going to deny me anything, darn it, I want wings.
Well, you're drinking a Red Bull.
Actually, one thing I have thought about, but every version of it I've seen has been done poorly, is pointy ears.
Oh, okay.
But it usually looks just completely hacked together. Like, it doesn't look natural in any way. So, no.
Why is it that pointy ears are just always the shorthand for old and wise? You know,
Not always.
Vulcans, Yoda, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, well, no, but there's others. I mean,
I suppose when you get into
a lot
fantasy
of
goblins
sort of,
and that.
like sprites and things, you know.
Sprites and tabs.
I mean, usually what pointy ears seems to mean, at least in fantasy rather than sci-fi, is Sylvan.
Trying to remember what that word means.
See, this is so hard to have these conversations with people who don't consume fiction.
Consume fiction.
Not good fiction, you know what I mean. Oh, come on.
Oh, I mean, you know, these days I'm reading How Jesus Became God. I mean, how much more fictional can you get?
Is it a narrative?
Well, the way he wrote it, I can hear it in his voice, so I don't know, maybe it's
That
sort
was
of...
not the question, and you know it. Yeah, you know, it's funny how you twist and turn to escape when you've just been plain old caught dead to rights.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
What really pisses me off, though, is that, God, when I'm in that recliner, I can't even hold a book anymore. Because they shove that needle into the arm, and you can't bend the arm at all, which means you can't hold the book to where you can read it.
So maybe you need a different delivery system for your text. You know, maybe something lighter, electronic, perhaps?
I don't know. It's just, I find it difficult to follow audiobooks.
I didn't say audiobooks.
Well, in order to read, I've got to bring it up to my face so I can read the darn thing, and
It sounds to me like you only have one arm that's connected up to the machine.
right, the left one.
So use the other one to hold the e-reader.
I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I'm having a really hard time to operate one-handed.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
With the ebooks,
hold on,
you need to be able to touch the screen to scroll.
Yeah, I do that with one hand. Like, seriously, with like all I have to do is like tap my thumb to the corner, like the right hand side, and it turns the page for me. I don't need both hands for that.
Yeah, I never find touchscreens that cooperative for me.
Me neither, but this is a pretty simple operation. Just tap the side and then the page turns.
I'm fat-fingered clumsy is what I am.
Yeah, well, I've heard you typing.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, and I usually have to hit the screen 4 or 5 times before it acknowledges I touched it.
Yeah,
my phone usually disagrees with me about where my finger landed, but it will acknowledge that I touched the screen.
Yeah, I type at a rate of about 60 words per day.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I also have that problem with my phone. Like when I'm trying to send text messages of it always thinking that I was on the letter next to it or the letter above it rather than what I was going for.
Yes.
Well, it's funny because I've had people tell me they never use the sort of swipe typing function. You know, where you just move your hand around onto the keys and it figures out what word.
Yeah, I've never done that either.
I use that almost exclusively because I find typing with 2 thumbs like just so. It's awkward as hell. I never hit the right letters. It's not worth it, you know. So I use the swipe type thing.
I'll never.
I don't know if that has a real name.
I don't know. I'll never understand though
Yeah.
how people can do that two-thumb typing. And I see them doing it, like da, 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 it's like a 50 caliber machine gun.
Well, they're
Yeah.
not doing anything different than what you do with your index fingers. They're hunt and pecking. It's just they apparently have better muscle memory.
Yeah, probably because my muscle coordination and everything else is for shit. Yes, absolutely.
You know,
no, not coordination. I said muscle memory.
Mostly it's the kids who grew up with it, so, it wasn't a
Hmm.
new skill. It was something that they've just, they learned when they first started out.
I just find it so awkward, and it's like trying to type with mittens on, trying to type on a phone. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
give me a proper keyboard,
Yep.
and I mean, it sounds like the height of a popcorn bag being popped in the microwave when I'm typing that fast. It's like I
Yeah.
can't do that on a phone.
Yeah, I want a phone that's got a keyboard with actual buttons again. Why can't they make a smartphone that has like a slider keyboard on it?
My ex had one of those years
It'd be
ago.
nice.
So,
Yeah, I'm sure it's just a matter of that they're more expensive to manufacture.
yeah, it's
Maybe.
got to be. I mean, well, she had one from Verizon, and I don't know if those things are made anymore. Could always look.
Well, one thing I've seriously thought about getting, they have fold-out keyboards that are like Bluetooth or USB, and that could probably help me out tremendously.
Okay.
Yeah, if I did much more on my phone, I would wind up getting one of those.
Oh, look at that. I think you can still get them. Yeah, that looks kind of like the one she had. Excuse me, the one she had.
I still have mine, and it still works fine, except that by the time they went to 4G, the system no longer supported it. So they
Yeah,
forced me to get a smartphone.
I'm having a similar problem with my Blu-ray player and Hulu. Hulu decided, oh, well, we need to have all of these like live sports centers and news events and all this stuff, and that's just not compatible with older Blu-ray players, so we're just not going to support them at all anymore. There was no like, oh, well, you can still have Hulu and not have all of these sports thingies going on, or news or whatever. That was never an option, annoyingly. It would have been nice to have had it, but oh well.
Yeah,
Actually,
but
I think that's the same one I had.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's more or less the one she had. I think hers folded in half rather than this one looks like it comes out like a tray.
Yeah, if it's the one I had, it's a tray that slides underneath.
Okay.
I will admit, I mean, as much as I'm not a super huge fan of the original series, I did like having a Star Trek flip phone. Like, I mean, not a literal licensed fan product. I mean, just, the one you flip over, the Nokia, I think it was Nokia, the really popular one.
I still have one. I haven't used it in ages, but
I don't know if I still have mine.
I expect that's part of what helped them catch on initially, was that kind of connection for a lot of people. That, that's what made it seem like all cool and super high-tech, because it was something out of Star Trek.
I don't see a brand name on this thing, so I don't remember. Oh, no, it says Consumer Cellular, and that's
LG.
not who makes it. LG?
LG is the manufacturer.
Oh my, I should charge this damn thing. I wonder how many calls are on the
Do you think you've got enough evidence to convict it in court?
it could be. I'd have to really make a good case. Might be able to do it.
I
Oh,
was
Sloth
thinking
Girl's good
about
at that. She'll
something,
crochet
'cause-
a case for you.
Okay.
Because you were just talking about like the phone brand, and it made me think of something that happened recently. I've been told a lot that I have a very visual memory, which never really made a lot of sense to me until recently when, like, how we're supposed to be avoiding Kellogg's because of the strike, and I don't know if we're still supposed to be boycotting or not. It seems like every 2 seconds we're supposed to boycott somebody new. But
Yeah.
like I was trying to remember, oh, this brand of cereal that I kind of want while I'm here in the supermarket. Is it one I should be buying or shouldn't I because of this boycott? And instead of like remembering a jingle or just remembering the fact of which company made the cereal I was thinking of, I actually pictured the box in my head and pictured the logo. And like I wasn't even necessarily picturing the words that said General Mills rather than Kellogg's. It was just that basic shape and the blue on white color scheme
Mhm.
made me realize which brand it was far more than any like just remembering the fact of it.
Yeah.
You know, I had sort of a visual mnemonic is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and a lot of people are like that, and that's, the marketing department really works on that with package designs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
now
it's
as
weird though, because like, sure, there's brand recognition, at least for me, but there's no brand loyalty in me. If the one cereal company makes a really great product and they also make a really shitty one, but there's another company that makes a good version of the shitty one and from the first company, well, I'm not going to say, yeah, but you guys aren't Kellogg, so fuck you. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
It
I find
appears-
the multi-meal bagged cereals are generally considerably cheaper, and I find them to be, just as good as the Kellogg or the Post.
okay,
I don't
then.
notice any difference.
It
Yeah, in fact, we were
appears
talking about that before. Generic brands are often better. We were talking about that with popcorn.
it appears that the Kellogg strike is over, at least as of 21 December.
But is the boycott over? I mean, it probably is if the strike is over, but still. Because, like, last I heard, the deal that was struck was still pretty shitty.
Oh yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So it might be that we have to still.
Yeah,
boycott
last
and
I
boycott
heard
other
the-
people. I don't know.
Last I heard, the workers had rejected the deal, and Kellogg was ending the strike by bringing in a lot of scab workers.
Oh, so we're still supposed to be boycotting then?
Yeah, unless I see something otherwise. Not a big deal to me, since I don't really eat much cereal anyway, but I know to some people it's an issue.
Well, there's a lot of cereal products I eat, but not just that. I mean, there was the whole Frito-Lay thing where they're owned by Pepsi. And so now there's like this huge plethora of shit you shouldn't eat because they're Pepsi related. And
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
really hard to keep up. After a while, like, it just, there's a certain amount of boycott fatigue that settles in.
And the way things work, you've got essentially three companies that own everything. So, if you want to boycott PepsiCo, you have to buy nothing essentially, or you have to quit buying 1/3 of everything.
Or do nothing but farmers markets for the rest of your life.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, farmers markets don't have Red Bull.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, it's like I want the products, I just want them without the scummery that goes with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
huh?
And I generally do try to, look for local brands, or at least things that are made within the state. Which, fortunately for Minnesota, that's not too hard to do, because we've got so many things, and like even General Mills is made here.
Yeah, back in Cleveland, there's a farmer's market that's absolutely fantastic. I remember I used to go there for lunch. Go from work, go to lunch, and go to this place, buy a couple rolls, a few slices of luncheon meat, and some cheese, and used to make up, a couple sandwiches, and that was lunch, and it was great. Place was called the West Side Market, and
Yeah, most of the farmers markets I see don't sound like that at all. Most of the ones I see, it's usually like someone with a garden has a stall. It has almost a garage sale feel to it.
okay. Now at the West Side Market, it's like a lot of the old delicatessens and grocers and stuff all under one big roof.
I don't think that's a farmer's market.
Yeah, I think the term's kind of used in different ways.
Okay.
That's around here, that what I'm used to when I say a farmer's market is usually that they've pretty much set up a bunch of tents in the parking lot where everybody's selling the produce.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of. That's a farmer's market.
What do we have here? See if I can find.
Kuja pakeš bakonek.
Daju korastu.
Two, both just had strokes or something.
She's hanging around me too long.
No, that's just my ticks.
Oh, okay. It
That's
sounded
from
to
my
me like
Tourette's.
sounded to me like you were doing one of those things that Diana does all the time with the frickin' speaking in like Eastern European tongues.
Yeah, except that I'm, not really aware of it until after it's happened.
Well, still, that's what I thought was happening.
Yep. I have felt that it would have been interpreted as either speaking in tongues or demon possession if I'd grown up in a church that believed in such things.
There you go.
Yeah, I have a feeling that, if I'd been born a couple of 100 years ago, I would have been burned as a witch. I'm just too weird.
We can still do that if you want.
Okay.
Nah, I think I'll forego the opportunity. I feel no need.
Yeah, but here's
that looks too organized to be a farmer's market.
Yeah, it looks a little too permanent.
Oh, it's quite permanent. Yeah.
Well, no.
Yeah, there's a similar thing in South Minneapolis. I just don't call that a farmer's market.
Yeah, let's see if we can get.
Hold on.
There, copy image link.
There we go. This is a perfect image. Right here. This.
Yeah,
that's farmer's market.
Yep.
Okay, wait a minute. What do we have here? Okay.
Are you still presenting? I'm not sure the.
Yeah. Let me drop the thing here. There we go.
Yeah.
Now they should be able to see.
Market. It's just a bunch of little independent growers who set up a tent, in some public square. It's gone the next day. That's a farmer's market.
That must be nice in California because you've got a lot more variety and a lot longer growing season.
Well, there is a farmer's market that happens not too far from me every Saturday. I've never really gone to it, but it's there.
Oh man, I was going to go back to Cleveland and just spend a day at the West Side Market until this kidney thing hit me.
Yeah, they have the farmers markets here, but, due to the climate, they're only operating about 3 months out of the year.
Well, the last year or two here in California, very atypical weather. It's been down into the 40s here. That's mostly in the mornings and at night, but still, sometimes we struggle to hit the low 60s. And for Southern California, that's a little strange.
Yeah, when I went out the other night to move my car for snow plowing, it was 27 below.
Mind you, in summer, we never really hit 100, but...
And she wonders why, she wonders why I hesitate to go there.
Oh, right, because that snow you're talking about is so endurable.
We'll keep you warm.
I seriously, as long as I'm not on fire, I would rather be too hot than too cold.
Yep, I know that feeling. I know that. Yes.
I might go torpid, but at least it won't be painful.
Oh God, especially since those couple of homeless years, being cold hurts. It really freaking. And I've been in tears walking from here to the Squall Mart because it's been so damn cold.
Well, try having piss poor circulation and being raised in Vermont.
Testarada. That's what they said. They said testarada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, poor circulation in the cold is not good. I've got that. I don't have good circulation in my fingers or toes.
Okay,
yep.
Then.
And the tip of my nose and the tips of my ears as well. I go out in wintertime and I am in pain.
Daya Karosto.
something I could never quite get my parents to understand. They didn't seem to get it. In fact, more and more I think about it, the big problems with me and my parents was just a lack of empathy on their part.
Yeah, it might be some of
Like,
that.
I don't think they're capable of seeing things through somebody else's eyes. Oh, well, what can you do?
Many things. I'm not sure if all of them are apropos.
I think that's better than what I was picturing, which was going to be legal, but all right.
Daya Korostu. Yes, everybody. Dayu Korostu, I give you scabies.
No, you can keep them.
Okay.
In fact, you could move here and you could leave those in Philadelphia. Or leave those in Pittsburgh, rather.
You know, I think that state and all those towns, there's just too many of them that start with P. It's hard to keep track. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, fucking podunk everywhere. It's hard to keep track of which part is which.
And then there's that wonderfully lovely town, Paducah, Kentucky.
Yeah, around here there's a bit too many things to start with Saint.
Yeah, well, try living over here with all of our Sans and Santas. You know, San Diego, San Francisco, San Mateo, Santa Cruz, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, you know, there's tons of them. And I mean, I get it. We're close to the border, so there's going to be a lot of towns named Spanishy, kind of the way Vermont has a fair number of, Frenchy towns. But, still, it gets confusing after a while.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, does Vermont have Santa Schottner?
No. Besides, that's a Jewish name, not a French name.
Okay then, yeah.
Yeah. That's why our capital is St. Paul.
Why, because it's Jewish?
No, because of the cathedral.
Okay
Do Jews
then.
even have saints?
I don't know
Not
that
really,
they
at
have
least
them.
not in the sense that the Catholics do.
I was just about
Well,
to
that
say
is, that
exactly
is what I
that.
meant.
Yeah.
You know, because they are like Judeo-Christian, Abrahamic religions, and I'm never sure like how much transfers from one to the other. You know.
No, as far as the, saints being the kind of semi-divine figures, I think that's pretty much a Catholic invention.
Yeah, you had to have that layer of intercession between God and the peons, which is what Martin Luther threw out.
Yeah, well, that's what we got. Minnesota, it's all Catholics and Lutherans.
See, I still say that if I was going to be religious, I'd be a Lex Lutheran.
There you go.
Yeah, as good as anyone.
Well, I mean, I suppose if I wanted to be smart, I could be Brainiac, but there isn't really a good religion pun with that name, is there?
I was thinking we should start a new movement of Marxists.
Groucho or Harpo?
Actually, that
Zeppo.
was Sloth Girl's response. My
Yeah?
original idea was to just be a Christian sect based on the Gospel of Mark.
Oh.
Okay then.
Yeah, I think I like the way me and Sloth Girl was thinking better, but that's just me.
Oh my.
Someone made a kid's book of Alien told from the perspective of the cat.
Meow.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
You know, if Xander had been solid orange instead of orange and white, I was tempted to name him Jonesy. after the cat from Alien, and very, very, very briefly, Aliens.
Well, not technically a cat. The main character for the novel I'm working on is an alien who's disguised as a cat. So, for a large part, a lot of the book is being told pretty much from the viewpoint of a cat observing humans.
He is descended from cats. His ancestors were cats. He is a cat.
No, he is not descended from cats. He's just an alien in a mechanical fursuit.
She's quoting Red Dwarf. But there was actually an episode of The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon was like, thinking about it, I think I'd be willing to be a house pet to a race of super intelligent aliens. And that got me wondering, would I do the same? And maybe. It depends on the aliens.
Depends on the perks.
It very much depends, because, there are a lot of people who I do not think they should be allowed to have animals around at all.
Okay.
But swapping places, with Sammy, I think I'm pretty good to him. I don't think I would mind that too much.
Yeah, I mean, they might get irritated if I didn't chase the stupid laser pointer, but, other than that, I don't mind being petted as long as it's understood that it will never get, sexual.
Oh, jeez.
I'd be okay with it, I think, and as long as the food was good. I mean, if the food wasn't good, forget about it. Kate doesn't eat kibble.
Yeah, the only part about Sammy that I feel bad about is that he doesn't get to go outside.
I do feel bad about that with my kitties, too. Their world is very small.
I don't know. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, there's a lot of nasty stuff out there.
Well, that's why he doesn't get to go outside anymore, because after what happened with Guapo, I'm not risking anything like that again.
Yeah.
Well, back in Vermont, all our cats were indoor and outdoor kitties. And, I mean, I've told stories about Kitty, who, brought that jackrabbit into my room that time. Yep. Vicious Hunter, that one. And, so, and we lived in a fairly small, isolated neighborhood. There were some dogs, but, the cats knew how to hold their own. And stuff like that. Rover didn't venture too far, ironically enough, from home. Kitty went wherever the hell she liked, but she always came home to, sleep in my bed, which I loved. I don't know if I could train these cats to be outdoor kitties if I suddenly found myself with, a yard. I don't know if they would keep coming home.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't mean they'd run away from me. I just mean I don't know if they'd grok the concept of you can be outside or inside either way. They might take it as being kicked out. I don't know how to train an indoor cat to be an outdoor cat. I'm sure there's websites about it.
One of my exes had a pair of indoor-outdoor cats, and one of the problems was that one of the cats got into something she should not have got into, got a hell of a case of diarrhea, and ended up fly blown.
Ended up what?
Fly blown. In other words, she was shitting all over herself, and then maggots laid eggs in the shit, and they started eating her arsehole.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And a lot of expensive surgery for that one.
I'll be honest, I would have thought that being fly blown was something that only happened at strip clubs.
Yeah, but Fiona and Simon were cats that I actually took in from the feral colony in the park. So there was no way that they were ever going to tolerate being locked in. They had to be able to run out.
Okay.
So that's why, as long as I had Fiona, Guapo still had to be an outdoor cat. Because there wasn't any way I was going to keep one in and not the other either.
Uh-huh.
Well, I know that Xander was a stray for the first 4 months of his life, along with his mother and his siblings. And sometimes I think that he's still a little spooked. He startles easily. I don't think he had a very good time of it out there on the streets. And Columbia's bitching at me because, it's 1/4 the hour. I really should be feeding both of these monsters. I'll be right back.
Dayo Corosto.
Yeah, Sammy doesn't seem to have much interest in going outside either. He likes to watch the squirrels and the birds. And I'm sure that he would like to go and pounce on things, but when it really comes up to it, it's like, yeah, he doesn't want to go out in the hallway because he knows there could be dogs out there.
Okay. Yeah, this one is really settled in as an indoor kitty. There was the one time she ran out of the apartment into the hallway, stopped dead in her tracks when she got out there, looked one way, looked the other way, turned around, ran back in, said, "Hey, human, get that door closed, will you?" So I guess she kind of likes being an indoor kitty, or at least it seems that way. Even the one time that I found out that my screen had a tear in it, it was because she was sitting on the outdoor window ledge, the living room window that I have here, and then she got out there and I saw her sitting, and that's not right, and I looked closer, and she was outside on the window, but that was as far as she went, to that window ledge. She didn't run or anything, and so okay.
Well, I tried giving Sammy a harness, and figuring that I could get him used to going out on a leash. He didn't go for that idea at all. It's like,
Yeah.
as soon as we got in the hallway, he froze like a statue and dug his claws into the carpet.
I tried to
Okay.
use one of those harnessy things with my cats, and neither one of them liked just even wearing it at all.
Yeah.
They struggled and rolled around and tried to get it off them, and they hated it and hated it. So, yeah, never did do that.
Yeah, this one did not take to a harness because I tried getting a harness for her when we went to Illinois, and well, she wasn't much for getting out of the car in the first place. Because what I wanted to do was, set a litter box outside the car, and then let her do her stuff. And it turns out that no, she wasn't going to have any of it, and that she really didn't need anything either. Didn't defecate or piss in the box or anything. So I guess she really didn't need to do anything. But then when we got to the motel in Schiller Park, I set the litter box down, and yep, she went right over and said, "Okay, thank you."
Yep.
One of those deals.
The one thing I really miss, I used to I have a screen door, but it slides out. It doesn't have a proper frame. And so, I used to leave in summer, leave my door open and have the screen there. And Columbia loved just sitting there looking at outside. She loved it. She would sit there for hours on end, right? But as soon as I brought Xander home and it got to be summertime, I opened it up and he just squirreled under the screen and got out. And I was like, well, I guess that's the end of that. It would be nice to figure out some way to still be able to have the cats have access to at least looking at outside like that. And it also does help get a good cross breeze in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, because I hate denying that to Columbia. Also, bugs get in under that open screen, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to install a full frame screen door.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's even allowed under the the homeowners agreement.
We got a problem here with the bugs. Unfortunately, they come in under the door to the apartment, and what we get are the stink bugs, if you know what those are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and very annoying. And then
Yeah, we had those in New York.
Yeah, you don't want to smash them because they do deserve their name.
Yep.
Well, we had a lot of mosquitoes in Vermont.
Okay then. Yep.
And some of those bastards were vicious. So there was that. Not a lot else insect-wise, though. Not that I can recall.
Okay. I have no idea who's knocking on my window. I am going to ignore it.
I think it might be a raven.
Could be. Nevermore.
Well, maybe occasionally.
Okay, yeah.
I
could
really
be.
do need to figure out some proper dinner for my own darn self tonight. I don't know.
I haven't the slightest idea what I'm going to have.
I don't actually
What the
have a
hell is
lot.
going on here?
Oh,
Was
they
that
got
your
wrong
door?
apartment.
Because it sounded like air ducts or vents or something.
Somebody's knocking on my window. I have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah, they probably got the wrong apartment. They probably want the window next to yours.
Hang on.
Oh,
She
you
goes
got-
to the window. We hear a couple of gunshots, and it's mysterious for quite some time. Or maybe it's Hari Krishnas. You don't see those guys much anymore.
No, haven't seen any of those for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Of course, it is one of the things I like about living in a security building, is that we don't have things like, you know, the JWs knocking on the door.
Yeah, we don't have that here either. You have to get through a gate to get to the doors. So, yeah, that's not a thing here. I'm quite glad about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
Although it would be fun to mess with Mormons. You know, like they show up and they want to talk to you about Jesus Christ and all that stuff.
All right.
Put all of that debating experience to good use, you know?
Oh, and I have this chair full of popcorn.
Sylvia.
I wonder if you could
Oh,
convince an
God.
anti-vaxxer to actually get the jab using Pascal's wager. I mean, modified, obviously, but still.
Oh, what's with Pascal?
I was saying, I wonder if you could get an anti-vaxxer to take the jab by invoking Pascal's wager, adapting it, of course, to, you know, circumstances.
I don't know. When I think about it, and I realize that I'm just thinking about it fleetingly here, it seems to me that they reject the vaccine simply because it is the vaccine. And in that case, there's nothing that could get them to take it.
Yeah.
Perhaps, but you know, if maybe some of the more rational ones, look, if you get the jab and you know, coronavirus, it really helps with coronavirus, then that's great. But if you take the jab, what have you lost if it's not real? Nothing. You know, I mean, I guess they might go, yeah, but the microchip, and then you have to slap them, but still.
Well, then you
That's
have
the
these.
thing, that most of them think it's part of some conspiracy.
Yeah, and then they're all vaccinated in the blood of Jesus and all that shit. I mean, some of these people are really, really freaking strange.
Okay, the people who won't wear a mask because they say they're inhaling their own waste are now drinking their own urine.
Yeah, and that's something. They will do
So
literally.
yeah, these people are clearly completely beyond any reasoning.
Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, there are just too freaking many of them here. I mean, I'm guessing that probably a third of the country is that wing nut.
No, I don't think it's a third of the country. Probably closer to like half that, a sixth.
Unfortunately, nationwide polls are showing it around 30%.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. What are we defining as it in this particular context?
Adults refusing to get the vaccine.
Oh, see, I was talking more about just the general nut barriness that this was apparently a another symptom of, like Diana just said. So we were talking at cross purposes.
Yeah, I still think it's pretty close to around 30% because that's about the number of people who say that they would still vote for Trump again.
That's crazy.
30%, really? I mean,
Yeah.
because I could understand if it was 30% of the right wing, but
Oh no, it's like 70% of the right
I
wing.
remember seeing, that just simply wasn't the case. I mean, I want to know which studies these are because I've seen other studies that don't say the same thing.
I don't know. I suppose I'll go looking one of these days when I've got the time to do it. I mean, that's one of the things I really cannot spend the time looking up here on the show. Um, I could try, but I don't know how successful I would be.
Well, most of the Republican Party is still pushing the thing about the election was stolen, and they wouldn't do that if they didn't think the majority of the voters were supporting that opinion.
It's crazy.
Actually, I'm hearing a number of right-wing politicians have been distancing themselves from both Stop the Steal and from Trump because they sort of think that is a non-starter now, that because Trump has been out of the public eye for so long that they have a chance to break from the maggots.
It's starting to. There's been a few, but they're not doing it in any great number.
I'm also hearing a lot of talk of primarying Biden from the left.
Yeah, I hear that. And the thing is, I have no freaking idea what they want to replace him. It certainly cannot be Harris.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The problem is that the present-day Democrat Party is kind of like trying to appeal to their base the same way Hollywood is, with nothing but remakes, reboots, and reimaginings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, do we for a moment think that Hillary Clinton wasn't Obama 2.0?
Jeez, of course, yeah.
Well, that's the problem with the midterm election is that neither party can win it. It's just going to be to see which party does a better job of losing.
Unfortunately, I think I know who that's going to be, and it's going to fuck everything over.
Yeah, well, the Democrats are not getting their message out at all.
Right.
And the Republicans, at this point, it's kind of a question of, is there going to be enough of a schism between the ones that still want Trump and the ones that are trying to move away from him?
Well, I'd like to see it fracture the party to the point where the fascists can't do anything, but I don't know that that's going to happen.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the left is pretty fractured, too.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, since we have basically a two-party system, I mean, if each side is that fractured, at some point, it's just going to be like you have to have more than two parties, or I don't know what will happen, but there will be enough dissatisfied people out there that something will.
Well, and unfortunately, at this point, it's like the large percentage of people that are still holding on to that the last election was stolen, so they're not going to trust the results of the next election.
Yep. And that appears to me, anyway, to be the modus operandi.
I gotta dispute that last thing. They'll love the results of the next election if their guy wins.
Oh, sure.
Not necessarily. Trump won Texas. They still forced him to do an audit in which they found no instance of voter fraud.
No, I mean, if their guy gets in office,
that's what I mean.
Okay.
That even though Trump won the state of Texas, they still forced the state of Texas to do an audit.
No. See, but he wasn't running for office in Texas. He was running for national office. I'm saying they'll be happy if their guy wins, if he's in office.
Well, Kevin Sorbo will be nice and happy. Idiot. I mean, I saw him do that. We were talking about this earlier, Kate. I saw him make that post on the Twitters, where he said everything was better under Trump. and I'm wondering, he must be speaking of better in a different definition than the one I'm used to.
Well, I saw slightly more on his statement there, and most of it was blaming Biden for things that started when Trump was still in office.
Well, that's what the Republicans do all the time. They
Oh,
always
yeah,
leave a
yeah.
dumpster fire for the incoming administration. And then they can, turn around and say, look at what they're not doing for you, when it's really all their fault.
Right. And that's what I mean about, the Democrats are just not getting their message out at all because they're letting the Republicans, keep pushing this, and stuff like the withdrawal from Afghanistan is all being blamed on Biden.
Yep.
And that started like 8 months before he took office.
Mm-hmm.
But the Democrats aren't saying that, no, this isn't our fault. Trump was the one who started it. They're not getting that message out.
I don't know if anybody's
the problem,
listening.
A lot of them just don't seem to think that they can lose the base, it seems like. A lot of them seem to think that they don't have to, because where else are you going to go? We're not voting for Republicans, so where else are we going to go but the Democrat Party? They don't feel that they need to court our vote at all.
Well, here's
because
the thing.
We keep voting for them, whether they're what we want or not, because there's no other alternative. We have to show them we're willing to not vote for them.
Well, no.
If we're ever going to see any kind of change.
They're not worried about courting their base, but they also know they cannot win with just their base. They have to bring in some votes of people who are undecided.
See, and I don't think that's true at all. I think that is a mentality that has been drilled into us. But what they really need to do is appeal further left, because there are so many people out there on the left who just feel like this country isn't left enough. And a lot of us feel like we can't in good conscience keep voting for corporate Democrats. So, we feel politically homeless. And I know I'm not voting for a Democrat unless they agree with me on issues, right? So, I mean, they need to appeal further left. You're not going to get the middle. If you are moderate and you're on the left, they'd rather have the moderate right candidate, because at least they stand for something. The left is trying so hard to court the people who are in the middle that they don't stand for something. So, seriously, I think there are a lot of voters out there who just feel like they've been left behind, but you got to play further left, not to the middle.
Well, I get the impression that what's going to have to happen is everybody my age is going to have to die, because the people my age tend to be those who are going for the status quo, who are, Biden appeals to them and everything else like that. And until they are gone and not voting anymore, certainly nothing is going to happen.
Yeah,
well,
but
we
the
also
point
need
I
to
was
get
making...
young people to the frickin' polls, because a lot of young people are very passionate, but don't actually go out and do the voting part.
Well, there are several things going on there. I mean, okay, is it not the case that a lot of them simply cannot go because if they do take the time off to vote, they're going to return to no job?
Well, no, but we're not even necessarily talking about people in jobs. That's still older than we're talking about. We're talking college-age people here. The people in school. A lot of them just end up not doing the hard part, which is going out to the poll.
Okay, but the point
Hey,
I was
Chinese.
making...
See what, honey?
The point I was making, and it doesn't matter if they're trying to court the center or if they're trying to court the left. Whoever they're trying to get, they need to get their message heard. Whoever they want to target with that message is a separate point. But if they're saying nothing at all, they're not getting anyone.
Well, that's the thing, though, is they are saying a lot of things. They're just really lame things. Like they are not inspiring anybody.
Well, that's what I mean.
But they are saying a lot.
Okay.
It's
Like, I
not
mean,
being
they're-
heard because they're not getting people to talk about it, so their message is not getting out.
No, I disagree. I think their message is getting out. It's just nobody cares.
Which is the same thing because people
Right.
aren't talking about what they're saying. So
No,
that
it's-
is not
it's
generating
it's
any
not
kind
this-
of buzz.
Well,
And these
but-
days,
but the
it's
problem
not
is
about
not-
the press so much as it's about social media.
Okay, but the problem is not that the message isn't getting out there. The problem is that the message isn't something anyone wants to hear. The message is out there, and people are encountering it. They just don't give a shit. I think that the message would be getting word of mouth if it were something people cared about. And this message is not getting word of mouth, but it is getting airtime. It is getting press.
Moo.
I'm not seeing it.
I don't know. Maybe we're looking in different places then.
Yeah, I'm seeing the media constantly talking about what's going on with the Republicans. I barely ever see it mention what the Democrats are doing.
Well, when you say the media, be more specific.
Well,
What are you talking? CNN
mostly I get it
and-
online these days, but I mean, even like Associated Press, I'm not seeing much about the Democrats from them.
All right. I don't know. I watch a lot of more independent news, I guess, and I see a lot of like, well, here's the Democrats, here's the Republicans, here's what each side is doing. Here's one thing the Democrats are doing. Here's one thing the Republicans are doing, and all this. It's a lot of balanced coverage, at least, even if not like
Okay.
the best representation.
That may be part of the problem. You're watching the independent news, listening to the independent news, whereas I get the feeling that the greater number of people here in the country are going to their standard outlets, to their CNN or their.
Not according to what I've been saying. According to what I've been seeing, a lot of people are abandoning those, and a lot of them are really struggling. In fact, most of the audience for those channels is boomers.
Yeah, and this is why I say that people my age have to die.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yes, but also the young. If the young, let's put it this way: they did like I forget if it was a study poll, whatever the fuck they called it, but basically they said if all the young people who didn't vote had voted, it would have been an absolute landslide for Bernie, number one, but just for the left in general. The problem was more like voter apathy on the part of the young, but they could have overwhelmed all of the older voters if they'd just gone out to the damn polls.
Yeah, and that's been the case for decades. That, people 18 to 30 generally don't bother to vote.
Which is weird because I've voted in every, at least like presidential election since I've been of age. I'm pretty sure I've missed, the why am I blanking? Interim, fucking midterm. That's the term I'm sure I've missed a couple of midterm elections, but I've definitely voted in every presidential election.
Well, there's the
so
other
have I,
thing.
but it is the demographic that has the lowest percentage of voter turnout in virtually every election for the past 50 years.
Which I find very strange. Why is that, I wonder? Is it just access? Is it not caring? Like, is it literally apathy? I mean, what? Why?
I think most of it is what you were saying, that, they're disenfranchised because they don't see much of a difference between the two parties. They feel it doesn't matter which one they vote for.
Oh, disagree. I mean, a lot of people see the difference in the parties. It's just neither one of them represents them. The Democrats and the Republicans are completely different from each other. It's just neither one of them is a Kate party. Neither one of them is a party that I feel represents me, my interests, my values, et cetera, et cetera. But I would definitely, like, if I had to choose one, I would definitely choose the one that's further left, even if it's infinitesimally so. But then a lot of people are like, well, why didn't you vote for Biden? I'm like, because I didn't have a gun to my head. I could vote for whoever the fuck I liked. It's just I didn't like either of the two candidates, so I voted even further left. What do you want from me?
Yeah. Well, I think it is mostly that they feel that both parties are really just supporting corporate interests. That
Well, isn't
neither
that
one
the
of them
case?
is likely to do much of anything that's going to affect their life.
Well, I suppose, but if they'd turned out for Bernie, that would have been not the case, because I know that guy. I was raised in South Burlington, Vermont, and he would have changed this country for the better, that's for damn sure.
I don't know. I really don't know that that would have been the case, because remember, the president is not the autocrat.
Doesn't matter. He had all of that power to just do stuff. Why am I blanking on what the fuck it's called? The executive order. That's it. He had a lot he could have done just with the power of the office. Never mind what he needed to do with Congress.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that they keep pointing out is that Biden could excuse student debt by an executive order.
Exactly.
That would not require Congress.
Exactly. That was going to be my go-to as well.
And yeah, obviously that is something that would get a lot of the college kids out there to vote.
Damn right. Not to mention legalize marijuana. Hello, you want the college kid vote? Fucking legalize it on the federal level. Duh.
And that is the kind of thing I'm really wondering about watching all this, is that, there are some of these obvious things that the Democrats could do, which would get a lot of votes from people who probably otherwise won't vote.
Well,
they don't seem to want to, they don't want to ruffle feathers.
Well, that is the problem, is that the left, at least what passes for it in this country, doesn't want to ruffle feathers. They don't want to upset apple carts. But if we could get one of those small dollar donor candidates as president, and then just say, look, corporations, we don't need you to get elected anymore. I mean, that would change a lot of things. I mean, in my darker moments, I think that if Bernie had been the candidate who did that and won, he would have been assassinated. But even if he hadn't been, or rather, if he hadn't been, that I think he would have made a lot of really great changes.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure that he would have handled the whole COVID situation far better.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, well, certainly better than Trump. I'm not sure what he could have done better than Biden, except possibly get more information out there so people were better informed.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I can see him not doing was abolishing the pandemic response team.
Well, that was done long before, or well, okay.
No, Trump did that.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, that wouldn't have been something Bernie could have helped.
I question if the CDC would be being controlled by the CEO of Delta Airlines if Bernie was in charge.
There is that. And it stinks, because my flying experience with Delta is pretty good. It's always kind of sucky when you have to abandon a company because they're being scummy when they're actually, really good at what they do.
Yeah. Well, and also I would, ask, is this recent experience or is this the way they were 20 years ago?
It's every experience. Some of them recent, but seriously, like Delta has always been good to me. As a customer, as a passenger.
I never flew Delta that much. I did a couple of times, but most of my flying was done with Eastern, which gives you an idea of how long ago that was.
JetBlue. I miss JetBlue.
Okay.
They still exist?
I don't think they're still in business. I'm pretty sure they're not, because they were like the, okay, sure, flying sucks, but let's give you every possible frill we can airline. Oh, hey, it looks like they're still around.
I was going to say, I was pretty sure that they were still flying out of Syracuse when I was living there.
Well, how long ago was that?
5 years ago.
How strange. I could have sworn JetBlue was gone.
Yeah, I think that they are tending to only do kind of smaller cities now, that they're not in the major airports anymore. Mostly, I think that's how they keep their costs down, is not having to pay the fees of the major airports.
I guess. I don't know. It's always so disappointing. You know, like there are a lot of times where, you know, there's something you like, a snack food, and there's like this specialty flavor that came out that you really, really love, and they discontinue that but keep every other fucking specialty flavor. And you're like, dude, you know, and it just sort of feels like that. And like the Hulu experience with my Blu-ray player.
Yep.
You know, it's just like, oh yeah, this thing you really like, yeah, it's not available in your area anymore.
That happened to me all the time because they had decided that Minneapolis-St. Paul was like the demographically average market. So they test marketed all sorts of variants on products and new flavors. And then they'd only be available for about 3 months, and then we'd never see them again.
Well, there were these salted caramel Eggo waffles that I haven't seen for like a year that were just to die for. And if you ate enough of them, probably to die from.
Okay.
But oh, so tasty.
Salted
I don't know what
caramel
it is.
Eggos.
Like,
I don't think I ever saw those.
Salted caramel has just gotten so popular lately, and I can see why.
Oh yeah, I've had a number of mostly candies that had the salted caramel that I really liked, the sea salt caramel. It's a good combination.
Well, anyway,
I never got to try
okay,
any
you know
of
how
those.
I'm a super taster, and like bitter things are really grody, and cranberries to me are extraordinarily bitter. But Red Bull had a cranberry flavor like 2 years ago or something that was oh so freaking good. And I don't even know what inspired me to try it because I don't like cranberry. I guess I was just trying every flavor of Red Bull to see what was up, and you know I miss it.
Hi, Rolf Lickmus. How you doing? Yay! Welcome to the open chat.
Oh, yeah. You know, I kind of regret that I never did try a Jolt Cola.
What, doesn't it exist anymore?
Nope. Been out of business for quite some time.
Oh my, shows you how much I go to that stuff.
Yeah, caffeine-free Jolt was one of the things they test marketed in Minneapolis.
What's the point?
That's what I always wondered. It's like, was anybody drinking that stuff for the flavor?
Yeah, I mean, you know, don't get me wrong. A Red Bull grew on me, like the regular flavor eventually grew on me, but it's not a great flavor. It's definitely an acquired taste.
Yeah.
You know, the flavored ones like the watermelon, oh, hamana hamana, but the regular old, it's carbonated Tums.
Kinder Bueno bars. I don't think I've ever had one.
I'll drink the original Red Bull, but I haven't cared for any of the flavors.
You know,
and the original I'll drink because the original Red Bull I think tastes like slightly fermented apple cider.
That's not. I still say it tastes like Tums, but all right. But to what was the Bueno bars? I see those in the store. I've never had one. I have had the eggs though, the Kinder eggs.
Okay then, yeah.
But not the not. I should try one of the Bueno bars. I'll be honest. I was never sure, like, because you know, Bueno is Spanish, and I live really close to the Mexican border. But I was never sure, is that Kinder or Kinder?
It's Kinder.
I mean, when I see it, I see Kinder, but then again, I'm a German speaker.
But you're all Germany and stuff. I don't know, like if they named something Bueno just because they like that, or is it actually a German company?
Well, it is Kinder because the founders were Scandinavian.
Okay.
That would definitely explain it.
Pomegranate Red Bull? I've never seen that one.
It's new. It came out right at the holidays.
Okay, I like pomegranates.
Yeah. I can't bring myself to eat one. They just look weird. But, I mean, I also haven't tried the Red Bull flavor. I mean, maybe I should. It's probably not made with actual pomegranate. And it may be like the cranberry where it tastes good even though it probably shouldn't. Maybe I'll give it a try next time I go out. I probably have to go tomorrow anyway. I think I'm out of something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I haven't been out of the house since Christmas, so. Except for just going to the drive-through for my prescriptions. I haven't wanted to be in the stores because I didn't know if I was still contagious.
Right. Also, pomegranate. It just sort of sounds like pom-poms made out of stone to me. And I keep mixing it up with sumac.
Okay.
I don't know why. I think someone once told me that sumac was pomegranates or something, or I just got mixed up. I don't know, but one way or another, those two are associated in my head.
I don't see the connection, but...
Well, you know that weird, like, fruit on sumac?
Okay, to me a sumac is a tree, but not a fruit.
Well, okay, maybe we're talking about different things here, but...
Could be.
And I might be... Let me see if it's the same thing. Well, I'm not finding good pictures of it, but there was this weird fruit. I mean, I'm seeing something... Oh, wait a minute. This might be it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it took a while to find it. It's weird how that can be, where there's something you know so well and the rest of the world knows something different. But this right here.
Okay then, yeah.
And like when I would see it in Vermont, it'd be all nasty and fuzzy and gross, like a slightly rotted raspberry. And it just, I don't know, for some reason that and pomegranates got associated in my head, and I just plain won't eat one of them.
I can see that if you pull the seeds out of a pomegranate, it looks kind of similar.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, regardless, I have never eaten a pomegranate. Probably never will, but I might as well try the Red Bull flavor.
I like the pomegranate juice, except it's, pretty expensive stuff. But, my favorite alcoholic drink is just whiskey and ginger ale. And that is actually quite good if to put a couple of shots of the pomegranate juice in it.
Never been much of a whiskey drinker. I don't know. It's I mean, maybe I just haven't had it with the right mixer or something, but usually it's not served with a mixer, I don't think. And just the straight up taste of it I can't stand, so I don't know. And I'm sure it depends on what kind of whiskey. I mean, well rum is disgusting, but I love Captain Morgan, so.
Well, yeah. And if I'm mixing it with something sweet like ginger ale, I'm not going to spend the money on the, the top shelf sipping whiskeys. But I'm also not going to go to, the bottom price ones either. That's the kind of stuff that my dad used to drink, was the real rot gut whiskey. And yeah.
Now I kind of want to get drunk on tequila. I don't know why.
No thanks. No, I don't like straight tequila.
Well, I didn't say straight tequila.
Does anyone ever just drink tequila? It's only for getting drunk.
Okay. I
do not know anyone who ever opens a bottle of tequila without having the intention of becoming incapacitated.
Yeah, that's pretty much the neighbors around here.
They have to drink it to get there. Like you can't become incapacitated with tequila without drinking it. So I guess I don't understand your objections.
I know you.
Could inhale some nights I will sit around and I will have, maybe 2 shots of whiskey in the evening, stretched out over a span of 4 or 5 hours. I'm not going to get drunk. It's not even enough to get a buzz.
Then why drink it?
Because it tastes good.
Yeah. You
See,
can
I've
still
never-
enjoy the
I've-
flavor and the sensation on your tongue without having it alter your brain.
Well, see, I guess that's the thing is I have never really encountered alcohol that I would consider actually tasty. Most of the time when I've drunk alcohol, it's been because I want to get drunk, I want to get faced, and I'm just enduring the taste of the beverage to get there.
I dearly love
Yep.
the flavor of Scotch and rye.
Ugh.
Mage has it.
And I wonder, like, yeah, I want. That's an old one. I wonder, like, how much of me being a super taster has to do with this. Because let's face it, alcohol, generally speaking, is not very flavor. Well, it's not. I don't have the right word for it.
It's not very
It's-
flavorful to me. I mean, drinking vodka. I just don't like it because it doesn't taste like anything. It just burns.
Well, but for me, that's almost all alcohol. I mean, sure, some of them have a very individual flavor, but they're still just, burns. That's
Well,
all it
see,
is. This beverage burns, and that's it. I've never had alcohol that inspired me to just keep drinking more of it, like for any reason other than getting faced.
Move beef. I mean, I used to do stuff like that, but got out of that habit a long time ago.
Well, but there's a huge difference between what you did to get faced and what I did to get faced. I mean, I went to the club and would have maybe 2 doubles, and that's it.
Okay, and then I would pound down a half a fifth of 151. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Is like, I mean, I didn't used to be such a lightweight. I know I've told that story before, but even then, like, I just, I don't think excess was a term I could use for how I was drinking, except for that one night. But still.
Moo. Yeah, that 7 shots of Everclear night, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. But I mean, not just that night. I mean, because that was one where I unknowingly ingested a shit ton of booze. Like, if I'd known what was in that glass, I would have said, let's put this in 2 glasses and cut it a bit more. But, like, there have been nights when I've gone to parties and had a little too much. I didn't make, like, a nuisance of myself, but I certainly drank to excess, that's for sure.
Limoncello. Is that what you were drinking on Mike's shows?
Oh, I know what that stuff is. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't know that at all. I've never had it.
Doesn't sound very familiar, but it also has a vaguely familiar ring to it. I don't know what it is. Oh well.
I'm going to assume it's something like alcoholic Sprite.
Could
Okay. Limoncello is an Italian lemon liqueur mainly produced in southern Italy, especially in the region around the Sorrentine Peninsula and the coast of Amalfi, I guess, in northern Italy.
Well,
The
if
liqueur
it's
is
Italian, it's probably pronounced limoncello.
Tayo Gorosate by
Okay.
Keresta. Main ingredients: water, lemon zest, rectified spirit, and sugar.
Ew, I don't want spirits that have been near someone's rectum.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm guessing I would probably like it because I tend to be very fond of anything with citrus flavors.
Me too, I love citrus so much.
Oh, great. Okay, so the rectified spirit is another name for gray neutral spirits. In other words, Everclear.
Ugh. Yeah, jet fuel.
Yep, pretty much.
If you can
No, that's
breathe
vodka.
fire for 5 minutes after chugging it.
No, vodka's rocket fuel.
Yeah, actually.
Well, in the drinky scene though, it's not usually jet fuel is just based on how powerful something is.
Toward
Yep.
the end of World War II, a lot of Poland's potato crop was going into V2s.
It was actually
Well, If they used potato-based fuel in a French plane, that would make it a French fly.
Yeah.
The Russians may have actually beat us to the moon if the engineers didn't keep drinking the fuel.
There you go.
Seriously, it was a real problem they had with the Soyuz program in the early days.
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
Yeah, that their fuel kept disappearing.
It's weird to me to think about, like, growing up in a culture where just casual drunkenness, if not outright alcoholism, was just part of what you do.
That's the
You know?
Russians, all right.
Well, then the Irish. Let's not forget the Irish. But
Well-
like also, I have some friends living in Italy right now who are telling me, like, everybody smokes. Everybody smoke. You can't go anywhere without a face full of cigarette smoke in Italy.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm staying home. I like here in California, or maybe it's just San Diego, don't know. Like, it's illegal to just smoke out on the street, for fuck's sake. Like, you can't walk down the street and just have someone puffing cigarette smoke in your face.
Okay, then.
So
Apple cider and Kraken.
One
Sorry.
thing that's what?
No, I was just reading the side chat. You were still saying something.
Actually, I was about to change the subject, so. To what, I do not recall, and that's fine. It wasn't that important, whatever it was.
Well, Kraken is rum,
Yes.
so yeah, I can't have that.
You can't have rum?
I'm allergic to sugarcane,
Oh.
so rum gives me migraines.
Oh.
Ugh.
Well, you know, most booze does that anyway.
I don't have the problem with whiskey. I don't even have it with
I was
tequila.
kidding. I was
only with rum.
I was making a hangover joke.
Although I do like a good hard apple cider. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
it's been a few years since I've found any brand that I really care for anymore.
What are your feelings on hard lemonade?
Oh yeah, I do
Alright.
get the Mike's Hard Lemonade at times.
I haven't had that in so long. It's still being made?
Oh yeah,
Oh. I don't usually keep booze in the house, and when I do, I usually forget that it's there, but some part of me kind of wants to just have like a 6-pack of something. Not beer, because I don't like beer, but a 6-pack of something just sitting in the fridge for when I need it.
yep.
Again, I do
Yeah.
have the weed, so I probably won't end up needing it.
Yeah, that was for me too, just as far as having the cider or the hard lemonade around. And that's something that, I'd buy a case of it, but, one case would sit around for several months.
I had
Because I'd
that one
only have
bottle of
like one or
Captain
two in an
Morgan.
evening.
There's that one bottle of Captain Morgan that sat on top of my fridge for like 2-3 years.
Yeah. Well, before I got stuck in Michigan, a bottle of whiskey used to last me about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. The longer I was in Michigan, the more I was drinking.
Mm.
Ah.
So, yeah, since I've been out of Michigan, my drinking is cut by more than half again.
Well, it was right around the time I was leaving Seattle that my desire for booze and mahal just sort of started to wane big time, out of nowhere. So I don't know. It's
The amount I drink is directly proportional to how often I see my family.
oh well, okay, fair enough, fair enough. I don't know. Sometimes I miss like the days of going to the club and getting schnockered with all my friends, but I don't know. It was spendy, if nothing else.
Well, yeah, especially if you're going out to a club for it.
Well, I mean, the Mercury was pretty cheap when it came to booze, but still spendy. I mean, it was like $9-10 a drink if you got call liquor.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I
actually, if you
mean,
think
yeah.
about like amount of like duration of effect and intensity of effect, weed is just way more cost effective than booze, at least in vape form, anyway.
Yeah, I don't have enough experience to really comment on that.
I do.
Mm.
My general experience has been that weed rarely affects me.
Yeah, well, I was having that problem until I found the right delivery method. Like seriously, tinctures didn't do a damn thing. And like edibles, meh, really not much of anything. But you know, it wasn't until I found vaping where I was like, holy crap, this stuff works. So
Yeah, mostly I've just tried smoking it. I did try vaping a couple of times, still no real effect. I have had
I
people told me that, that edibles might metabolize differently and might have more of an effect for me.
give it a try if you're interested. I mean, you know.
I would if I could buy it here, but I don't have any way to
Yeah,
get it.
that is a problem. Access. I mean, seriously, like Biden could legalize weed right now, stroke of the pen,
Yep.
and he's choosing not to.
Yeah, and that's the thing that the average person on the street has not seen Biden do anything since he's been in office.
Yeah,
They can't point to anything that they can give him credit for.
They have been hiding him in the basement quite a bit. I mean, okay, they did trot him out for, withdrawing from Afghanistan or whatever. I mean, that was pretty popular with a lot of people, getting the hell out of that forever war. Or was it Pakistan? I can't remember. It was one of those places over there where we've been
Afghanistan
fighting
was the most recent one.
Okay. I thought I was right on that one, but
Yep.
seriously, we've been fighting so many wars in so many places that end in Stan. It's hard to keep track of what happened to which one when.
Yep.
So, but regardless, I mean that was pretty popular. A lot of people loved him for that. And I have to admit, I mean, as much as I largely despise the man, I'm glad he did it.
Well, again, that he was just carrying through a plan that started while Trump was still in office. So that really, you can't even say that was his idea.
Maybe, but if they can blame him for shit that went wrong when Trump was in office and he was there for the aftermath, then darn it, they can give him credit for the good stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, if nothing else, let's just call it follow through.
Yeah. But see, that's the problem the Democrats are having, is that they can't say anything that has gotten better since Biden has been in office. You know, it's kind of like, well, it's not getting worse anymore.
Yet.
Has he really improved anything for me?
Well, no, but when was the last time a Democrat really did?
Yep, and that's the problem, and that's why they can't get people excited about voting for them.
But the problem is, like, they're trying really hard to keep their stranglehold on the narrative and on their donors, and in the process, they're losing all the people they need to keep them in office. And I keep having these weird conversations with people about, like, I keep trying to say, look, there are all these voters that want to vote for other kinds of people. And they're like, yeah, but, you have to vote for the, blue no matter who, because otherwise it's Trump and all of that stuff. And, like, you can't get past that blue no matter who mentality with some people to have a conversation about it. Like, I don't even mean trying to convince them that it's correct, but getting them out of the habit of using that as their answer to everything is really hard to do. So, now.
Yeah, as Mage said, the mainstream media attacked Biden over the way the Afghan withdrawal was handled.
Well, I'm not sure how much people are even listening to the media on that sort of thing. I mean, I don't know really anybody at all who thought that getting out of Afghanistan was a bad thing, who thought that Biden should be like hated for that. I don't know anyone who said that at all. I mean, maybe there are people outside of my circle who did, but I mean, if the mainstream media is saying one thing and it's not what I'm hearing from actual people.
Yep. And I think that also is part of the problem the Democrats are having, is that they're paying a little too much attention to the mainstream media reports and not really paying attention to how the population at large is reacting to things.
Well, I'm not even sure that they're listening so much as directing. I mean, a lot of them do seem to have connections that allow them to spin news narratives, that allow them to say, here's what we want you to report. Now, I'm not saying they're necessarily feeding us misinformation. They're probably just like it's more of a granting more airtime to what we care about kind of thing.
Uh-huh. Maybe part of it is the problem that maybe the people running the DNC just don't really understand how much the way people get their news has changed.
Oh, that's for sure.
That they're still focusing too much on like CNN and on newspapers, and they don't really get that, the internet and especially social media is mostly what people are going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that they don't want to believe that. Even if they're aware of it, they don't want to believe it because it gives them less control. Right? Like they are not able to like to veto what someone has said online. They're not able to spin that. They don't have that influence to be able to like cleanse the narrative. So I'm sure that they don't want to even believe that there are alternative news sources out there, and I'm sure that if they did, they'd love to see them squashed. Oh, well. I mean, what do you do when the system is completely rigged? What are you supposed to do?
You don't want to hear me say it, do you?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the problem with the two-party system that we're pretty much stuck with it because it's like there isn't really a good way to change it at this point.
Well, that's the thing, though, is that there is we just have a willingness gap, and that is on the part of the Democrats to move left. I mean, like, seriously, if they started appealing to the disaffected left, they would win every goddamn election. But they're so worried about bipartisanship, which is never going to happen with, like, the MAGA right, that they're quite willing to lose as long as they can say, well, look how nonpartisan I was.
Well, I think more so that they're afraid that if they go too far left, they're going to make the corporate donors nervous, and the corporations will stop giving them money and be donating only to their opponents.
Well, that's why I mentioned before about small dollar donor candidates, because we did have a few of those, and some of them were pretty darn successful, and even the ones who weren't successful necessarily came awfully close to being so. So, I mean, it seems to me that this reliance on corporations is just a holdover. It's an archaic way of doing things that really just hasn't died out yet.
I don't think it's an archaic way, but for politicians, it's the easy way. Because then they only have to go and they only have to talk to, maybe 100 people to get the money they need, instead of having to appeal to 500,000 people.
But the thing is, they still need votes. Even if they go out and get all that money, if they're unappealing enough, they're not going to get the votes, no matter how much money they spend. So, I mean...
So why do they keep getting elected?
Because they're the only thing on the menu.
There you go.
But I mean, that's the thing, though, is if there was one of those small dollar donor, whatever the fuck, candidates out there who won one of these major offices and is now not under the thumb of those corporations, then we might see some movement, and we might see some of the deadlock being broken on the left.
But in my lifetime, I've seen only one person break the deadlock, and that was disastrous.
You're going to have to be a lot more specific.
The only person I've seen do what you're talking about,
No,
breaking
no,
that
no, no,
deadlock,
just
the
what
only
was
person I've seen
disastrous?
doing that.
What was disastrous? The specific incident.
I think she was getting to that. You just didn't
Well-
let her name who it was yet.
Because there was way too much preamble. Just give me info.
What I saw happen was Donald John Trump got elected.
Then we're definitely
Yeah.
talking about different things.
I
And I
don't
feel
think
like
Trump
breaking
really
the
counts
deadlock,
because he still
that's-
had all the corporate donations.
Yeah, and I'm really just talking about the left right now. Getting like breaking that cycle of the left being beholden to corporations. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like governing. I'm talking about getting elected.
Hmm.
And Trump did not have any left-wing appeal. He really only won because there was nothing appealing on the left, and so they lost a lot of voters. Like, there was a lot of apathy. There were a lot of people who just plain didn't vote because there was nothing to vote for, only to vote against.
Well, and that's generally what happens because generally our elections, it's considered high turnout if they actually get 50%. So, we pretty much expect that half of the people who can vote aren't going to bother. Now, I think that is what made a big difference with Biden, was a lot of it with the mail-in ballots and the early voting that did make it so a lot of people who normally wouldn't have shown up on election day to vote did send in a mail-in ballot instead.
Yeah, which is main reason the fascists are working so hard to eliminate that.
Well, I don't even see the point anymore. Because you can't win. There's no winning at this point. I mean, every time I have seen a candidate that I cared about who didn't, if they won, did not end up, getting all corrupt and going back on all their promises. Yes, I'm looking at you, Obama. Like if every candidate ended up sort of like Bernie, where there was a lot of passion, there was a lot of promise, and then just nothing at the ballot box. And I'm sick and tired of having nothing but losers to back, but only losers seem to have the same values I want, which, by the way, are not losing values anywhere but the United fucking States, because you look at other countries around the world, first world countries, a lot of them have implemented all the stuff I want to see happen here. So it's an America problem, not a Kate problem.
Well, yeah, and there are certainly things that are popular positions that you have to keep wondering why you can't get more politicians to back it, other than, again, that, corporate influences, corporate money.
Well, that's why we need these small dollar donor candidates, and it's also why we need ranked choice voting. The problem is, and it's not like I'm saying anything new, how do you get the system to change when you need the cooperation of the people who most want it to stay the way it is?
I think our best bet is to push ranked choice voting,
Well,
because
but
that
that's
can
exactly
be pushed
what I
state
mean.
by state. It doesn't have to be a change in a federal process.
I guess, but it still seems to me like most of the people, there's just too many people with a vested interest in not having it, because they'll lose or have to actually be a real politician
Oh,
if
yeah.
they can't rely on it.
Well, they're going to oppose it, and that's part of the reason why it'll work better on a state level, because people can put more direct pressure
Yes, but-
on their state representatives than they can on the federal representatives.
Yeah, but I still meant on the state level as well. It's going to be a hard sell unless you've got a candidate who doesn't fear the opinions of the public. You know, a politician who's like, yeah, I think I can still get elected with ranked choice voting. Or a politician who says, I don't care if I get elected if I implement ranked choice voting, because with ranked choice voting, someone who thinks like me will end up in the same office, even if it's not me. But most politicians these days, at least on the left, seem too cowardly to try that.
Moo.
I don't know. I'm just tired of being let down by politicians. I don't even know, like, I mean, I'm gonna vote in the next presidential election, but I'm probably not gonna be even really talking about it much. Maybe posting the occasional meme, but not my usual, like, grumpiness, because frankly, like, there's no way to change people's minds at this point. Everyone's all like, well, we have to beat the latest greater evil with this lesser evil, and that's all you ever fucking hear.
Yeah, and Mage, that unfortunately, again, a good percentage of the people will still be persuaded to vote against their own interest. And most of that comes from the religious wing.
Well, I'm sure a lot of it is also just people are dumb. It's like the same mentality where, like, they put out a quarter pounder, like Big Mac or whatever, and so some other company puts out a third pounder, which is even bigger. But because 3 is lower than 4, the public didn't buy it. You know, it's that same kind of, like, dipshit mentality where they don't really think it through.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of that.
I mean, honestly, I wonder what this world would be like if we could just, I don't know, ship the stupid people off to another planet.
Depopulated.
Yeah, but basically the Republicans' main thing for getting elected is getting their voters riled up that if we allow for gay rights or abortion, it's going to destroy the country.
They never say how, do they?
No, they never say how, but it keeps getting people to vote for the same people who are making sure that they can't get health coverage.
Well, I mean, it's not just that, though. And a lot of it is sure that they say, like, we need to protect the country from this, that, and the other thing. But I recently saw something from a guy on the right wing who was talking about how America has an aesthetic, and like he was trying to say that there's a certain American energy, that seems to be getting lost. It's like, clearly these people want the United States to be a bit more Yankee Doodle dandy than it has gotten in the last, like, half century or two. It's like they really want a very specific vision, their vision of America, to prevail over all others. And that'd be great if they didn't have to force everyone else to comply. Yeah. But a lot of us just plain aren't game, and that frustrates them to no end. But those are the ones who are going around rallying the base, going like, oh, look, they want to take everything from you, kind of stuff. Those are the ones who are doing that shit.
Yeah, it's generally, the people who think that America should be like it was in the show Happy Days.
Yeah, that too.
That it's not even that they want to go back to the 1950s, it's they want to go back to a Hollywood version of the 1950s.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, I can't even imagine living at a time like that. It looks just terrible. I mean, honestly, like, I wouldn't want to have to fit myself in it. Can you see me in a Donna Reed role at all?
If you weren't a middle-aged white male, it probably sucked.
Yeah, it sounds like it would have. So I'm kind of glad we don't live then. Like, seriously, being born any earlier than I was, I think I would have had less of a good time.
With one exception.
Oh?
Well, if I had been born about 10 years earlier, I think being a beatnik poet in the late 60s is probably about the only place I could have fit in.
I would have liked to have been able to see Star Wars in the theater when it was new. That would have been
I did.
nice. Well, I was too young.
Yeah, I was
So,
14 when the first one came out.
I was about a year and a half. So, you know, little on the young side, bit of a whippersnapper, which is a very strange expression I've never quite understood.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from.
Something to do with snapping whips.
It seems likely, but I'm also sure there's something a bit more specific to it.
Yeah, I never went and looked that one up.
You know what I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Respirating?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mate says, my grandmother was a one-issue voter and would vote for anyone who was against abortion. And yeah, I think that's a lot of the people on the right, you know, are basically going to vote on one issue and not even bother to ask the people running what they think about any other issue.
Which is just about the stupidest thing I have ever fucking heard. You know, I mean, unless it's something like, I don't want all of our heads chopped off. You know, unless it's something like that, really voting on just one issue when it could screw over the rest of your entire existence seems really dippity.
It is. But, you know, it's something that the politicians can consistently get to work. Because they can get enough people to be emotional about one issue that they don't bother to ask them what they're going to do about anything else.
Yeah, well, I kind of want to slap those people. Everyone involved needs a good slapping.
Okay, so what we have here, whippersnapper is a fairly old-fashioned word, having been around since the late 1600s, when it apparently arose out of whip snapper, which implied a general sense of lots of noise and very little importance. Around the same time, whippergenie was a derogatory term for a woman.
Okay.
D'accord say.
It's not that interesting, is it?
Yeah, it's extremely interesting.
I was expecting it to have something to do with whipping horses.
I kind of expected it to be something like, you know, you cut a willow branch or something and you used it as a whip, and also you stick it in your mouth like your Huckleberry Finn kind of thing. I don't know.
Plenty of room in the adoption service. Just how many kids age out of the system and put up with shit for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. A couple of my friends in New York do foster care, and that's an issue they see all too often.
I mean, you've got a reasonably good chance of being adopted if you are a white male infant. But if you're an older kid, if you're not white, if you're a girl, chances
yeah,
drop.
pretty much any kid over 5 years old has a little chance.
If I were, like, going to adopt, and I don't want to be a parent, but if I were, I really do understand the mentality of insisting on an infant. Because you'll be the only parent they knew. For me, if I had like a kid who was what 5, 10, whatever years old when they're adopted, there's always going to be that sort of like vague feeling of I'm not really your parent and you're not really my kid going through my head the whole time, because I wasn't raising this kid from a baby. I'm having to get to know them, as like when they already have a personality, like we don't get to learn who they are together. They already know who they are, and I'm just sort of like babysitting them for life. I couldn't do it. I get why people want infants. I really do.
I don't know. Since for me, kids always came with the package, I found it to actually work out quite well with, with older kids, because it was usually like, gee, you're not as shit as my dad was.
Well, I don't know. I don't want to be a parent anyway, so it's pretty moot, at least for me.
Yeah, well, I always wound up raising kids whose fathers couldn't be bothered with them. So just the fact that an adult was willing to spend any time and listen to them about anything was just kind of like such a novel experience for them.
Well, I need to get something to drink real quick. I am definitely dehydrated. I'll be right back.
Shetapaleki. Or something like that.
Oye, venga.
Daju korostu.
Oh. This is the problem I run into now, that I really... I'm having trouble going more than about 3 hours of being able to hold my eyes open. I'm still not sleeping, but I just can't really stay awake for very long anymore either.
That too. Yeah, I'm going to have to go to bed early too, because one good thing about being in bed all day yesterday was that I wasn't exhausticated when I was going to dialysis this morning. And that may have helped the whole treatment session. Because I did not get lightheaded. I did not pass out.
Yeah. I think Sammy also gets worried that if I go more than 2 hours without waking up and turning over, he thinks I'm dead.
Oh my, oh my.
Well, it's just what he's been used to all these years, so...
You being dead?
No, me never going more than 2 hours without getting up.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I like sleeping. It's good. I just wish I could stay asleep longer than usual. I forget if it was in the green room or when we had started, but I was talking about how I can hear my neighbor's alarm clock.
Yeah, yours. Yeah, I think that was the green room.
But it's not even their alarm clock that I'm hearing, though. I'm assuming they're using their phone, because what I'm hearing is like a vibrating pulse that I'm pretty sure is not a marital aid, right? But I am hearing it. It's very, very faint, but it's there. And I think that in this day and age, we're all trained now to react to the sound of like a phone vibrating. And so I think that their vibrating alarm is waking me up at 6 a.m. every morning, as opposed to 6 a.m. every night.
Yes. I never did quite understand where these people did the whole 6 a.m. in the morning thing.
Well, because, it's often we just say 6 in the morning, and it's pretty automatic to say in the morning, and maybe you added a.m., I don't know. It's not like they're really doing it on purpose.
I mean, I kind of like 0600 hours, but, what can I tell you?
Yes, they are doing it on purpose. It's all a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
I do still think it'd be great to have like a comedy about the military or police or something, and have someone go, okay, so what time are we meeting? And the other one's like, oh, 800.
Daju Korostu.
You know, it was like, because it always, that plays in my head every time I hear someone say something like that. You know, we're going to meet at 0930. And my brain's like, well, we'll meet at 0930. You know.
Yeah, but another 2.5 hours, and you really can't do that all that well.
True, but it doesn't mean it doesn't still play in my head every time.
No.
Because it totally does. Every time. Can't help it.
Playing in the head.
Well, it's kind of like, you know how I hear more than meets the eye every time I hear a word that starts with trans?
Well,
Because in my brain, that's Transformers. You know, so it's like, yeah, every time someone says anything that starts with da-da-da-da-da, every time. Can't help it.
It's something I have had no end of headaches from, like, Google search with when I'm actually trying to find electronic components to build something and looking up Transformers. That's not a reference I'll ever find.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, heck, try looking for Tron memorabilia. There are so many things that come up that have nothing to do with the movie.
Okay.
And I think there's a brand of something out there called Light Cycle, which doesn't help.
Yeah, I think Light Cycle was the name of a company that made exercise equipment.
Yeah, well, you know, there's also the vehicles in Tron. And I want to try and find a Light Cycle from the original movie, not that garbage thing they tried to call a sequel. But try finding one. Good luck with it. Humans.
Well, that's interesting. I typed in Light Cycle, and the very first thing that came up was Light Cycle 5th Generation Tron Wiki. I must have got lucky.
Well, here's a question. Did you type it as one word or two?
Two.
That happens to me a lot too. That I'll try to search something and I'm not getting any results, and Sloth Girl types it in and it's like, oh yeah, right off the top. It's like, why does it fucking work for you?
Well, I mean, maybe part of the difference, though, is that I was looking for something to purchase rather than looking for a wiki based on the movie. That might be different. You know, especially since a lot of those toys are very, very, very discontinued, even the ones that came out in like the wake of the anniversary or whatever.
Yep.
And so, you know, it's mostly eBay searches.
Okay, then. Oh, this is interesting. Geek Gifts. $55,000 street legal Tron Legacy Light Cycle replica.
Well, that's the problem, Tron Legacy. That's not what... That's the thing they tried to pass off as a sequel. That's not real Tron.
Are those feathers that swim in the ocean?
Well,
what?
A sequel, isn't that a writing feather that swims in the ocean?
Ah, okay, yeah, pretty much.
I suppose I should seriously consider dinner at some point.
I'm gonna have to consider dinner one way or another. I have no freaking idea what I'm gonna have. It's like I say, I've got ingredients all over the place, but no food.
Yeah.
Well, what I have to decide, because I'm probably going to make a stir fry, what I have to decide is rice or noodles.
Oh. How about noodles?
Well, for me, that's an automatic decision, but I'm not big on pasta. I'd always go for rice.
You know, that's an idea.
You know, I was raised Italian, and I do like Asian food, so noodles are definitely part of my menu.
I wonder, should I boil up a little bit of spaghetti, steam some shrimpses, and stir fry all that together.
Sure.
No, you should not. Shrimp is disgusting.
But they is tasty and yummy.
Shrimp is
And
delicious.
disgusting and gross and should never be consumed by anybody.
And nutritious and delicious.
Shrimp is delicious, and as a bonus, it's blasphemy.
Yeah.
Hey, well, okay, here's a weird question. And I know that no one has a right answer. It's really fiction. But, I mean, like, okay, if a vampire is Jewish, do you have to use a Star of David instead of a cross? Or does a
Asked
cross
about
work
that.
on all vampires? You know, it's that kind of thing where it's just like, you know, if you don't believe in the lore of the magic that's being used against you, does it then not affect you?
That's the only part of the movie The Mummy I remember, is when the mummy's chasing after this guy, and this guy pulls out this necklace that's got, like, 3 dozen different religious symbols, and the guy's trying to flash each one at the monster, hoping one of them's going to work.
Good
Well, and there's
jeez.
also, like, I forget the name of it, but there was like a Jewish vampire hunter, and that was the basis of the movie. I don't know. Well, regardless, it's just something I've given some thought. Is like, you know, if there is a, I guess, religious, usually because it's vaguely belief based system of magic, but there's competing belief systems out there, like, you know, does one of them prevail over the other? Does one of them not affect you at all if you don't believe it? Does it do both work regardless? I mean, how does that work? Obviously, I'm not talking about the real world. I'm talking about something more like a fantasy author would create, which is why I say there's no right answer, but it is something I've pondered.
Oh yeah, it's something I've thought about too, and basically it kind of depends on how you're setting your system up. Are you going to say that all the gods were equally valid?
Well, there was a movie I really like, Eric the Viking, like 80s. It's got half
Yep,
the cast
I
of Monty
remember that one.
Python in it, and Tim Robbins and Eartha Kitt, right? And there's one character who is like a monk, a Christian monk or Catholic or whatever, one of those, and everyone else is a Viking. And this monk is completely unaffected by every bit of Norse mythology that got thrown at the characters. And like, all of them are looking at Asgard or the Golden Bridge, Rainbow Bridge or whatever. And the monk dude is like, what's everyone staring at? I don't get it, kind of thing. So, I mean, that's another way to handle whether or not a belief can affect someone who is not of the same tradition.
Well,
Yeah, I go back to my favorite animated movie on online was the Saga of Bjorn,
Okay.
which was about this Viking warrior, this aging Viking warrior who is just looking for a good death to get into Valhalla, and everything keeps going wrong. I'm going to spoil it here because I need to, but he keeps finding all these other warriors that he's challenging to combat, and just some stupid luck keeps going wrong that he never actually gets the fight. And
yeah,
Oh.
I think you showed that at me.
he hears all this screaming, and it's like this giant is attacking this Christian church. So he goes and he fights the giant, and he dies in the battle, and he's just all relieved. And he gets up there, and he's walking up the steps to Valhalla, and just all of these rewards are being heaped on him. And just before he gets up there, all of the nuns give him a Christian burial.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, it's like a big roulette wheel that Valhalla disappears, and it spins around to the Christian heaven, and that's the gate that opens up.
I have to admit, like, some of the descriptions I've heard of Christian heaven don't sound so bad, because usually it's like, oh yeah, all your fantasies come true. But then they got the ones where it's like, oh yeah, you spend eternity just worshiping God, and somehow that feels good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like your entire afterlife is prayer, and apparently that feels good somehow. It sounds miserable.
It sounds incredibly boring to me.
And like hell is where everyone who knows how to have a good time will end up.
Yep, Satan throws better parties.
But it just seems so strange to me that like that's supposed to be paradise somehow. Just constant prayer. Even if there was something built in that magically made it so you never got bored, it still sounds dull as dishwater. You know, I mean, I'd probably go, okay, so can I do something else too?
Well, I think it's basically for the people who just are seeking safety and security, and they're willing to give up anything just for having that feeling that they're safe.
Well, you know, but the thing is, it's bullshit is the problem.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I wonder what it would be like if we found out that one religion was in fact true. How would that change things? I mean, I know if it was the Christian God, I'd be like, okay, time to find that magic ring or flaming sword that can kill him. But what if it wasn't the Christian God? What if it was some other God? And maybe it was one who was fairly hands-off with regard to humanity, but was still there and occasionally had some sort of magical effect on the earth. I mean, I just wonder how the world would change if we proved a God was real. Then again, probably not at all. Everyone would deny that it was real, like, you know, the way the right does with the vaxxing stuff, I bet.
Yeah. I was going to say, I can imagine if you proved it was anything other than the Christian God, just the kind of fallout that would have. You say, mostly I think it would be mass denial, but, you know, if the God actually appeared in a way that people couldn't deny it.
They'd say it was there to test our faith.
Well, you know,
it's Satan, an illusion sent from Satan.
Don't forget there are people who have said, if the Bible said that 2 + 2 = 5, I would believe it and seek to understand it. So, yeah.
What I'd love to say to those people is, okay, build a rocket.
And when it crashed and, you know, killed everybody and possibly them, it would be just because they didn't believe hard enough.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm willing to let them try.
Yeah, just keep the rocket the hell away from me.
Well,
forget about a rocket, you know, try making a tire the right size for a wheel if you don't comprehend pi.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that the only change is the result of adding 2 and 2. Well, imagine this. What if 2 + 2 = 5, but 1 + 3 still equaled 4?
That would fuck everything up.
I know. Wouldn't that be weird? I can't even imagine what that world would be like. I mean, obviously it would be impossible, but if for whatever reason we allowed that mathematical exception, that'd be so weird. Like if you turn to someone and you say, could you hand me 4 of those? No. 3, then 1. You know, none of this 2 and 2 stuff. Either you give me all of them at once, or you give one of it, you know, and then with 3. It'd be such a weird world where you'd have to be handed things in the right amount to even have them. What would happen if you took 2 and 2? Could you multiply how many, like, whatever you're handing to someone, let's say bolts? You know, like you say to someone, okay, we don't have enough bolts. Keep handing me piles of 2, handfuls of 2. And we'll get 5 out of them.
Okay, so what if you handed me 3 and 1, and I gave them back to you as 2 and 2?
then I would now have 5 of them, and then I would drop one of them and hand you 2 and 2, and then you'd have 5 of them, and so now we'd have a grand total of like a lot. Sorry, I'm feeling a little brain dead. But the point is that if they were handed off to like in handfuls of 2, you'd keep multiplying. You get one extra bolt every time. Eventually, you could just like have infinite bolts as long as you could keep handing them back and forth. I wonder where the extra matter would come from.
You'd have to ask Fred Hoyle about that one. With the what the heck was that theory of his called? He didn't like the Big Bang, so he developed some hypothesis where matter was constantly created.
Oh, I think I've heard of that one. Okay. Where it's like the singularity didn't pop, that there's like some rip in the fabric of the universe through which stuff is spewing constantly or something like that.
Some garbage like that.
Yeah, I mean, like there's variations on that theme, both stuff people believe and stuff that got into sci-fi.
I gotta see if I can find. I guess it was called continuous creation. He was a whack job.
Now, is this the same guy with the card company?
No.
Okay, different Hoyle?
Yep.
All right. Because that's where my brain goes when I hear Hoyle.
Yeah.
That and the clown in Animaniacs who kept going, Hoyle! That guy.
Let's
Puppy boy
see.
with no eyebrows. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be a Jerry Lewis impression that they were doing.
Where does the term according to
Been
Hoyle
too long
come
since
from?
I've seen that. I kind of remember the general essence of the show. I don't remember any specific routines from it anymore.
Okay, according to Hoyle was Edmund Hoyle. Let's see, whose dates were 1671 to 1769.
Wow. Okay. I am starting to get hungry. I may have to go soon.
Okay, yeah, that's... Like I say, it's probably not that bad an idea. I don't know, say top of the hour?
Well, it's 7 minutes from now, so sure.
Okay, we can do that. And then I can root around in the freezer and see if I can find something. Maybe I'll have that shrimp, or maybe I'll have something else. I haven't the slightest idea. I need something besides that popcorn.
So what's the difference between the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour? Isn't it the same stroke of the clock?
It is, but I mean, I guess the difference is whether you're starting or stopping.
Well, the way I thought it was working was the top of the hour was 0 minutes and the bottom of the hour was 30 minutes.
No.
No?
No, that's half past. Bottom of the hour is like, near the end of it. Like maybe even less than 10 minutes to go is the bottom of the hour.
Okay, now according to Merriam-Webster, yeah, top of the hour is at the beginning of the hour. And bottom, let's see.
Well, I don't care what an official source says. I know how I and everyone I've ever known used it, so...
Okay, bottom of the hour from your dictionary. I'm trying to make sense of this. The time at very close to... the time at very close to half the next hour of time. So, yeah, half past.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, it's the way the minute hand is pointing.
Still doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, if I was going to say something's the bottom of the hour, what I mean is that the hour's coming to a close, and we're really close to that part of it. But that would mean at least 75% of the hour has passed. Much like if we were at the top of the hour, but more than 25% of it has passed, I wouldn't call it top of the hour anymore. Because now we're pretty firmly in the middle of the hour.
Moo. Moo? Definite moo? Indefinite moo. So an
Anyway,
indefinite moo would be moo? No, huh?
sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm a foo-foo. Anyway,
That's one word for it.
what you got coming up, Purple Honey? What you up to these days? What you gonna plug for yourself?
Yeah, just my usual chats. Wednesdays at noon, Thursdays at 10 p.m. Central.
That sounds
And
good.
usually Saturdays at 6, I'll be on with the shills.
Okay, so you're a regular now.
Yep.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, and actually, yeah, tomorrow night at 7, I'll be on with Godless Granny talking about building communities.
Oh, all right. So you're starting to work with her pretty much. That's a good thing.
When she's got a topic I know something about.
There you go. Yay. And what's Kate up to besides this and Quinn Redshift?
Really is my life at the moment. I mean, until really people feel like it's safe to go out and be social in groups, I don't have a lot to do at the moment. So.
Oh my, oh my. I don't know.
A
We
lot
gotta
of my
fix
social
that.
outlets were like in public places. It wasn't just like friends getting together at one friend's place, and that sort of dried up when the pandemic happened. So,
Tayo Korostu.
but so a lot of my time is spent working on Quinn Redshift, making food, playing video games, you know,
Making
getting
food. That sounds
stoned,
good.
like really, really stoned.
You got me thinking of Ray Charles now.
Okay,
He did a song called "Let's Go Get Stoned."
okay.
Oh my, but okay. Tell you what, kids. I'd like to thank everybody who's here. I'd like to thank everybody who's not here. And you guys keep me going. You really do. And I want to thank you many much for it. I really do want to thank you. Because gives me something to do, you know, one of these deals, besides sit and bleed into a machine. And it's a good thing. I rather like it. And as long as you keep liking this stuff, and as long as you keep coming back for it, and as long as I'm alive to do it, I think I'll keep doing it. Sound good?
Yep.
They're just
And
here for me anyway.
say again?
They're just here for me anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will ask, I mean, I hate to beg, but I will. Anybody out there, if you like this enough, would you consider becoming a patron? I have my Patreon in the corner of the screen, patreon.com, The Lavender Lady. And, you know, I mean, just get me to and from dialysis and stuff like that. And
And if you have anything left over, you can help me fund my weed habit.
there you go. There you go. See? Two at once.
There you
And
go.
in the meantime, thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.